Okay, hombre. Well, this is session four, I think, amazingly,
four,
of
yeah,
Beast Hunt.
absolutely.
So once again, thanks very much for agreeing to do the playtest.
Sorry, it's taking quite so long to work through stuff.
Yeah, no, well, that's the whole thing, isn't it? So this is, I guess you're figuring out now. This is more of a kind of mystery that you're trying to solve or getting involved in. So far, you haven't had too much hack and slash. Although I think when you were going through the Green Coombe Forest, you got mega lucky or unlucky, depending on the point of view,
Depending on
random encounters. So
Yep.
you haven't really you swatted a few giant mosquitoes.
Yep. They were super easy, weren't they? I think I think your thing was to plan to maybe either do more or
I think for playtesting I might up the number of those. So it's more like a swarm that you can bat down, but if they get near you, you might find more trouble than you were hoping for. But that kind of
but then just don't have them near you or just
exactly. Okay. So I think last session was you were on a mission reconnaissance cycle, weren't you?
Yeah.
So I think you started off by grilling Sally for information for gold.
Yeah.
And you learnt 3 key facts about stonecap mushrooms.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you want to try have a go at it because it might help you, might bring it out of your,
put it somewhere.
Or I can.
Oh yes. So oh yes, that's right. Yeah, turns to stone.
If you take them with alcohol or whatever, it can turn someone to stone in about 4 hours for it to work.
And then it then you just have to keep on.
Yeah, it lasts for about 4 hours if you don't keep topping it up. Yeah.
But belladonna cancels it.
Quite quickly.
But not too much because that's
toxic.
Toxic.
Yeah.
It forestalls lycanthropy.
Yeah. So if you take it, you can, if you're a lycanthrope, you can mask yourself, or you can stop it. If you were trying to capture a lycanthrope, you could maybe give it to them so they can't change it to a lycanthrope, and you could because obviously they're in beast form, they're more deadly than when they're just like a human form.
Yeah.
So you paid Sally quite a good gold for all this.
We did, yeah. And the Chamberlain sells it.
She sells it to the Chamberlain, and she's not allowed in the palace, but she wants to become the Chamberlain's apprentice. But so she goes to the Green Coombe Forest to gather it around but just before a full moon.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And because you gave her so much gold, she quit her job.
Yeah, we did give her a lot of gold, didn't we?
And so basically maybe she doesn't need the job for the Chamberlain anymore, but she has now since disappeared. You then were recruited by the Chamberlain to help with the beast hunt.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I've got the other stuff in my mind. Yes, absolutely.
So you're about to. So we'll recap what you actually did, but you basically went to the palace, stole the ring.
Yep.
But you left the key behind.
Yep.
The spare key. You basically were approached by the lycanthrope hunters.
Yep.
And they said they knew a secret way out of the throne room.
Yep, which we used.
So you teleported into the throne room using the amulet.
Bam.
Stole the ring.
Obviously, is a distant. Well, we worked out it was probably a distance thing rather than anything else.
Because he tested it within 1 mile of the palace and it worked. But when he said, maybe it didn't work when he got further away.
Yeah.
Which would have been handy if he told you.
It would have been. But...
So you teleported in. You examined the statues and decided that there was something odd about them, which is that they seem to be warm.
Yeah.
So you concluded maybe. Well, I'll let you. What did you conclude?
Well, I guess from that, the kind of the relatively obvious conclusion from that is that the Chamberlain. Well, the Chamberlain is using. Or someone is via the Chamberlain is using the stonecap mushrooms to keep the Duke and the Duchess,
the Lord Pauldron's parents.
Yeah, essentially.
I don't know what we call them, but Lord.
Anyway, those guys, the guys that were statues, that are the actual parents.
Yeah, you think they're the parents, and that's why they have maybe the garlands around them because they have garlands of.
With the
belladonna,
stonecaps.
belladonna and stonecap mushrooms around them, as if it's I don't know. And they're cornered off or whatever the word is.
Yeah, so you can't actually get to them.
Yeah,
almost like they think so. So that's what we considered there. Okay. Kind of toyed with the idea of of reversing the stone cap, but then kind of thought, actually, no, we can maybe come back from that once we've done other stuff.
I think you conclude you come back and deal with that, and maybe even steal the key. Later.
Yeah.
Because what you're trying to do is leave no
trace that we'd actually been there. So
I mean, you have stolen the ring because that's what you promised the lycanthrope hunters.
Yep, we did.
You said because you want
it
them
was just on around his neck, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So you just kind of hid the, you know, like the garlands would conceal it.
Yeah.
So the plan is that you told the lycanthrope hunters, you go to Hafton and investigate.
Yeah, but be careful.
Yeah, because you want them out of the picture because you think
was it Six Toes?
Aldwyn Six Toes, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you figured that they might do something stupid.
Yeah.
So you want them out of the way. So they said, all right, if you get us the ring, which they believe is a sacred like ring of lycanthrope hunters.
Yeah.
They said, if you give us the ring, then we'll go to Hafton and investigate for you. So that's the deal we struck with them. So you went into the palace, you had a sniff around. You then used the secret exit, which was
the little button hidden behind the chair, pulled stuff out. And then it looks like you could kind of break it going the other way, but that's why we didn't want to do that, just so we can still kind of use it.
Yep.
Looked like no one had used it prior to that, so like the current Lord may not even know about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's kind of come into this through nefarious means, or rather, he might have even been pushed into it.
Or been manipulated into it, you thought?
Absolutely. So that took us outside of the city, or the town, or whatever.
Go on.
So we tried to get back in again and like mess that up royally. Properly messed it up.
You guys said, "Oh, we forgot something," so we came back in, and the guard was suspiciously set off a pigeon.
Yeah.
So you went back to the inn and you decided to stay the night to travel down in the morning for the hunt that's going to take place tonight or whatever it is.
Yeah. But we've got horses.
Yes, you got horses. And I think that was mainly it.
I think so.
A lot of, and you learned about the dragons.
Yep. So hang on, we think it's probably the sisters.
You think it's what the twin sisters do?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Somehow merged, just because it's a dragon with colour like straight down the middle. Appeared about the same time as the sisters disappeared.
Right.
So whether there's some kind of odd magic coming on there, especially with the ex-chamberlain taking them in, losing them, then coming out and just disappearing.
It is a weird coincidence. We must say that. I think there was some similarity with the names you thought you noticed.
Connie.
One is just called Connie.
And the other one is called Luminox.
One is just called Connie and one is called Lucinda.
Oh, okay.
And the dragons are called Connie Fawkes the Red and Luminox the Green.
Yeah.
So you suspect there's a bit of a thing. And Sally used to go in around just before a full moon to get the mushrooms. Because that's when they grow.
Just check I didn't have my phone down there, did I?
There's something there. The black one.
No, we're all good.
Okay.
No worries.
And then, sorry, I can't remember exactly where, but
Can I just say one thing very quickly?
Yep.
That was actually a real girl, and I didn't have to pay her to come here, so she actually lives with me. Just saying.
Buddy. Some wouldn't believe you. I don't know, but so yeah, the
So the dragon,
the dragons, and then I think there was basically the lycanthrope hunters at one point questioned Sally, and you get the impression maybe she was passing information to them at one point.
Yeah.
And then, I think that's most of what happened. I mean, the only thing I would say is, do you remember? Oh, I should have said if the portal had been in the throne room.
Yep.
I presume you wouldn't have gone through it on the night, because otherwise you wouldn't have been able to get back to the throne. The portal that teleported you to the Manticore's lair.
Oh, yeah, no, we wouldn't have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I should have said the portal was there, but
oh, was it?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still open. Oh, okay.
So you could have gone through it, but
oh, okay. Yeah.
But let's just say for whatever reason you didn't in this occasion. But
I mean, we wouldn't have anyway.
But it'd been tricky.
To get down to the down to the thing. We got no kind of magical means to get down there, so I think we would have been far too far away.
Trapped, because it might not. It's the one where you need to put amulet to get back,
and the amulet doesn't work.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, but I just thought I'd just mention it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's actually really great. So it's almost like a permanent portal then.
Well, it seems to be there at the moment, anyway. But maybe it can be programmed, I guess. But at the moment, it seems maybe Clavence,
Magnificent.
or maybe sorry, whoever may want to go back and get the amulet that you supposedly tossed there. But again, they would know they'd have to travel back, so maybe they wouldn't do it either.
Okay.
And then finally, I guess, do you remember the offer that was made to you for what's your mission for the Lord Pauldron?
So we've got to go down, make sure he's safe.
Mm-hmm.
Duff the Manticore up a little bit more, but allow him to do the final strike, and we're kind of then just going to kind of fade into the background.
Yeah.
And he's going to have all of his men around and stuff, and they're all going to
cheer. So I think the main thing is
it's not a setup in any shape.
Yeah. I think the Chamberlain promised you this was an absolute slam dunk.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just turn up there to just ensure that Lord Pauldron doesn't get into trouble. But he's sure it's no problem because the Mandalor's going to be drugged, ears filled with axe. He's going to be wearing a blindfold. It's going to have linen tied around its paws, sandbags on its back.
Yeah.
Its tail wrapped. So basically, it's going to be. I think I said it's going to be drugged. So is it essentially you're just there because Pauldron is very brave but slightly risk averse.
Yeah.
And so you're just there to just be an extra guarantee because he did such a good job with the Manticore. And I think the chairman said you can maybe hold the Manticore down while he does the job, but you suggested that maybe that was a step too far. But so there's no risk at all to you. That's the whole thing, and you're just there to see the deed. And I think the idea is that his men are going to be on the outskirts of the forest. You're going to be there, and then when he kills you, you're meant to cheer, "Oh, well done, sire," or something, and they all rush in and see him standing over the dead Manticore.
Yeah.
And jobs are good. So I think that's the plot.
Yeah.
So you were coming back from the secret passage. This is where we left it. The guard, you managed to arouse the guard's suspicion. He set off a bird or something flew off to somewhere unknown, and you guys said, "Oh, we're just going back to our."
I failed abysmally, didn't I? Was it a charisma roll or something?
I can't remember, but yeah, it was bad. And so you decided to stay the night.
It was a total fail as well.
Yeah.
It was a critical fail, so it's quite amusing.
It was bad, yeah. I think it was bad. So you decided to stay the night in the inn.
Yeah,
and
where we've been staying.
Pauldron's Arms.
Yeah.
With Weldo,
the barkeep.
Yeah, who no longer has an assistant.
Okay,
so unless you got any more questions, I guess we can cut to the morning.
Yep.
So one sec, dude.
Yes,
So
I
the
don't have
things.
any questions.
Okay, make sure the thing's running. Okay. So you guys are getting ready for your brecco. You put, being adventurers, presumably you strap up to the hilt, sword on, even though you're having a bowl of porridge. You're wearing plate mail.
Draw my sword if there is.
Okay, so as you guys are just about getting ready, you hear this absolute gut wrenching shriek. I mean, the last time you remember hearing a shriek like that was when a Ganther sliced the arm off a goblin, and it was like.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, absolute. The most horrible shriek you've ever heard.
We'll investigate.
So what are you going to do? All rush downstairs.
It's from downstairs?
Yeah, it's coming from downstairs. You're guessing, it sounds from where you're probably in the, probably the bar area, frankly, breakfast area.
Yeah. So we'll investigate, I think.
So
Fighters leading the way.
Running, trotting, just walking?
Kind of, running, I think.
Okay, so you all barrel downstairs, and you see Weldo, basically flopped in his chair, going, "They've stolen Quink!
They've
stolen Quink!"
Uh-oh.
So, as you remember, Quink is his colour
changing parrot.
Yeah. Who's
stolen him?
He says, I don't know, but look, he this is where he rests at night, and look, he's not here, and he would never leave, and frankly, he's very good at reading emotions, so I have no idea how they could possibly have captured him. And he sort of points to where he normally has his little kind of stand, and his little mini tankard is toppled over on the side, and basically no sign of Quink.
Oh dear. No sign of Popo as well, I presume?
Well, you can ask.
Is Popo still around, or is he gone, or is he...
Well, he left several days ago, so I don't understand.
And what about the other group? Because he was...
Glorious Ravens, they skipped out of town a few days ago as well. I think maybe yesterday.
Sally
In
Ann's
fact-
left as well, though.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, that's interesting because when I went to bed last night, he was sitting here, and obviously I lock up, so someone's obviously managed to get in here. And as I say, Quink is not silly. He can basically read people's emotions, and I know he'd obviously had a bit to drink, and he points to his like little knocked over tankard.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have thought. I wouldn't know how they would have got away with it.
And does Sally Ann still have keys to the place?
Hmm.
You hand them in?
It's a good point. She probably does still have keys. Thinking about it.
And how did she get on with Quink?
I guess they were. I mean, I don't think Quink was especially fond of her, but then again, not many people are. She's a bit grumpy.
Fair enough, yeah. Oh dear.
Maybe you chaps can help find Quink, find the scoundrel who seems to have.
Well, we'll soon have a look
stolen.
around. We've got something to do first of all
Mm-hmm.
that we do have to do, I'm afraid. But yeah, we'll have a look around.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying you're gonna try, if you can, rescue Quink.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to investigate anything else, or just?
Well, just ask him. Has he done anything else since he came down? Is it literally he's come in, seen Quink's missing? He's not done anything else in the room at all.
Yeah. So no. He said yeah. Just came down and, like I say, found the area like a bit, the same. Presumably they must have knocked over this tankard Quink's little tankard when they grabbed him or something, because Quink's normally quite tidy with his tankard. He doesn't normally like.
He's not
doesn't
spillage.
It doesn't want to waste a drop. No, not normally.
So we'll have a look around then. Just see if there's any.
Okay.
Is there a sign of a struggle or anything like that at all between a parrot and someone?
Okay. Okay. Give me.
Are there any feathers around or?
Okay. So you're gonna examine the area.
Yeah.
Okay. So I presume. All right. Give me a wisdom roll, because you haven't. Unless there's something else specifically you're looking for, I'll have to see if you guys think to do something which isn't. I wouldn't say it's that unobvious, but I'm also thinking maybe you guys are. Anyway, give me a roll.
Are there any windows open or anything like that at all?
No.
Where we might burn out?
No.
2.
Okay, that's a low roll. Okay, so you look inside the tankard, and inside you see a small piece of green mushroom.
Green mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the colour of the stone?
Very
when they were...
reminiscent of the. Obviously, you can take a closer look at it.
Absolutely. Not
Okay.
touching it or anything, but
Yeah, by now you're quite familiar with stone-cap mushrooms, because you obviously found them in the woods and you sold them to Sally. So you look at it and you're pretty convinced that is a piece of stone-cap mushroom inside
in
his
his
drink.
beer.
In his drink glass, yeah.
So he would have turned to stone for a bit
I guess so. If you,
if he was drinking it.
because I think Sally told you the best way of giving it is to dissolve in alcohol, and then
Well, that sounds like someone's being a scallywag.
well, a good way to catch a parrot that appears to be able to sense your emotions,
Yeah.
or read your mind even.
Interesting. And so, it doesn't really matter, but we'll just ask Waldo if he poured the beer in the tankard, or if someone else did, maybe Sally before she left, or...
Well, people often give Quink what he calls tips. People often give him a bit of a drink.
And who was the... Did you recognise anybody, or
Well,
anyone
not,
notable that gave him drinks?
to be fair, it was pretty quiet. I mean, I'm almost thinking that whoever maybe snuck in the night, because they obviously came in and came out, and there's no locked doors, perhaps gave Quink a top up. It implies that maybe Quink. I mean, maybe that means Quink knew who it was.
Interesting. The plot thickens.
It sounds like you don't have time to investigate it right now.
No,
but
we don't really. We do need to get on, I think. But certainly something for us to be thinking about. I guess the only trouble is the trail will get a little bit cold if we do leave it.
Obviously, the lycanthrope. Oh, the lycanthrope was checked out as well last night.
We gave them the ring, I presume.
Let's rhetoric on that. You gave them the ring,
Mm.
otherwise they wouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because you did promise when you came back, and they would have been waiting for you guys.
Yeah.
You got a ring!
Yeah, straight away, and not unsubtly as well.
Oh yeah, and remember, Mother had an accidental injury where Donna accidentally stabbed her with a silver knife.
Yeah. Poor Donna, that's a difficult one for that.
Because you suggested that was a way to prove he was a lycanthrope, and you insinuated that his mother was.
Yeah.
And
Just because those guys.
And she was like, she wrapped it up in a giant like ball
Yeah.
sized bandage to like really ham it up.
And having Buffalo Soldier
There you go.
every time.
Okay, so presumably you're going to tell Welder, who's basically more or less inconsolable because he treats his parrot a bit like a family member, but you've promised to like track. I mean, to be fair, he doesn't really know exactly where you're going anyway.
Yeah.
But you'll say you're.
So we will be back.
So who do you think's got it? If you were guessing.
I think probably Sally, to be fair.
She
Maybe
does
she's got it for Popo.
Well, she seems very money orientated, right?
She does.
So maybe because Popo asked you to steal it, didn't he?
He
at
did
one point,
back in time.
and you said
So
no.
just told to ram it. She
But
seems fairly.
She's also resigned. She resigned from her job
Yeah.
because you gave her all that money,
Yeah.
and she's nowhere to be seen, and probably has access in and out of the pub quite easily.
And Greg is used to her, so
True.
You know,
And she knows about
probably-
stone-cut mushrooms.
yeah.
That
So I
seems
think that's probably my kind of thought process is probably her getting it for Popo.
get some more
I can't
coin.
really see that she's going to hold it ransom against Weldo because that would be minimal gain monetarily. I think she'd get more from Popo, and
Yeah.
she seems to be
So where do we? I guess you could ask. I guess you could see where.
where she lives.
Well, where? Yeah, I guess you can investigate at home, but you are running low on time. And the other thing is, you could try to figure out where Popo went. I mean, your best guess is maybe head back to Halfton.
Yeah, I think
Because if she agreed to have this parrot stolen, she must have had a rendezvous. And it's probably not in town. The most logical place is either like somewhere like the Green Creek Forest, a bit dangerous, or somewhere nice and safe like Humpton, where.
she's been there a few times, hasn't she? But
I mean, for Popo, he's probably not likely to go to dangerous lair. So he's
no,
my guess.
he seemed a bit of a what's my word for it? Effete type of person, possibly. Effete.
I don't know what that means.
Very, I guess not particularly manly.
Okay. Oh right. Okay.
One thing they said, almost like the very posh
Yeah.
aristocracy.
Yeah. He didn't look like he'd had a hard days.
Yeah.
He basically deals in exotic pets and whatnot.
I might have just made that up. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it is.
I thought it was Alderman Six Toes that had the feet. Sorry, dude.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, so I guess maybe when you
So
go.
I think, so two things. So one, we'll just ask Waldo if he knows where Popo went.
Okay, I wonder if he does, because obviously he was. I mean, he left. He may have asked Sally to get it, but he might not have thought she was going to get it.
Yeah.
And then, would he have said where he was going? I tell you what, Evans, he said where he was going, and then I decided to tell the truth. But
I'm going to run a D100.
oh, all right, it's a big one for Evans. So Evans, he did say.
Hey, Evans.
He did. Okay.
24.
Now, would he have told the truth?
Right.
Okay. What did he say?
He was going to wait at the Manticores there. Nah,
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
I did tell the truth.
He said that he was heading down the South Road, which is the road that leads to the to the walled garden.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he said. Now, whether he told the truth or not is a good question. Yeah, the Stout Road South he was heading down.
Yeah.
So, just to recap the map, you are here in Humpton.
Mm-hmm.
The Stout Road South
Yeah.
goes past the wall garden.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously the normal Stout Road, which goes to Hafton over the Ply Bridge, which crosses the Ply River, and then obviously due north/northeast is the Green Forest.
Yep, cool.
So he did say he told Walder that he was going south. Presumably, there's a city down there
at some point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's presumably the Met, because you're in a bit of an out, kind of borderland area.
Yes.
So the more south you go, you'll head
the more kind of populous it will be.
Yeah, you're probably going back to the regional, because like this is the like Lord's, like residence, but he's probably like a kind of regional lord, and like there's probably other few dukes and barons around in different bits, but this is his patch.
Cool. Okay. I guess we'll how long do we think it's going to take to get down to the walled garden?
So I reckon if you leave now, you'll probably get there probably about 4 o'clock. We'll give you time to meet up, hopefully with the Chamberlain. Mm-hmm. Do a bit of get a few things ready, and then get ready for the because you've got horses now, right?
Yeah. And
get ready for the hunt.
Okay.
Assuming that nothing goes wrong on the way.
Yeah, that's what I was just kind of trying to...
It's within your control.
Toy over in my mind whether we...
You probably just about have time to go see where Sally lives, because what's his name? Waldo would probably be able to show you.
Yeah. Let's do that quickly.
Okay. You go there and door's locked. She's not answering.
Is there any other? Is there like a back door, or what's the? Is it like?
Let's see. It's not a very salubrious place, so I'm going to say it just has a front door, sort of like a, in a sort of back kind of alley, kind of not very busy area, but there's obviously a few people around.
And I guess most people know that she worked or works for Weldo. It's not particularly thing there, so we could always say to Weldo, "Oh, Weldo, make a little thing that you're really worried about her, and we'll try and."
Okay, so he leaps out his door and starts pounding on it. Give me back my parrot! Give me back my parrot!
That's not quite what we asked for, but okay, fair enough.
So he's making quite a racket. You don't have any secret way of getting in, do you? I'm just trying to think. All your potions and things, do you?
No.
Because you also had some potions from some kid. No, but I don't think you do. Thinking about it. Well, he's making a big enough fuss that you could probably pretend to be pulling them away and just force it open.
Yeah. I guess what we'd try to do is maybe put them away, but get them to keep on making lots of noise. Mm-hmm. And while people are distracted there, let's see if Bardock can
quickly flick it. All right, give us a roll. Towards you about 30%, is it?
I think it is. It just says the ill thing.
Okay, it's not a great lock, so let's go 50%.
Ooh, okay.
That's basically not especially
50. No, let's not bother doing that. 64.
Okay, so whilst it's a bit of a lock, because basically Weldo is still trying to basically claw his way,
and stuff like that,
jostling you and whatever. Yeah. So you think maybe a good shoulder from Ganter would probably...
Yeah, I think we'll have to do that then, eh?
Yeah, so you're going to make it look as if you're trying to restrain Weldo or something and accidentally force the door open, right? Yeah. Okay, so I reckon 3 and 6 or first attempt.
Opening the door?
Yep. Or 50-50 again, I guess.
Yeah, 3 and 6, that's what you said.
That is it. So 1, 2 and 3, you force it open.
2.
Okay, clonk. It's open.
It's open.
Yep.
So we'll kind of... we can't really let him go first, just because.
Okay, he pushes his way in like, Sally, where's my parrot? Okay, let's see if I'm gonna make a roll. See if anyone is, whether any of the police or anyone is going to be interested, or comes yet. Because at some point someone's going to.
They will be interested at some point. Yeah, I mean, you said it wasn't.
Okay, so no one's come yet. So okay, so it's basically like a 1-bedroom thing, maybe a little cook thing at the back, and blah blah blah. It's not, but basically it looks like it's been cleared out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, I mean, you could look in here, but you suspect there's not going to be anything worth
I
finding.
mean, we'll have a quick look.
Okay, give me if you can. Give me 18 or more. You might find something interesting. Otherwise, it's all just tittle tattle trash.
18 or more on a D100.
I should be clear. D6.
15.
Okay, so basically, you think it's mostly crap. Anyway, so Weldo basically crawls onto Sally's bed and starts like crying. Quick!
Oh dear. So we kind of we're gonna have to kind of calm him down.
You gonna leave him there? You're gonna drag him away?
I think we're gonna have to kind of say, look, mate, we need to crack on, but we'll have a look. It may well be that we're on the South Road anyways. It may well be that we catch up with Popo and possibly Sally Ann if she is taking Quink to him.
Okay.
And if anything does happen there, then we'll.
So I'm going to come with you.
I think you're probably best off staying at the pub because there'll be lots of people expecting you there. Keep everything as normal, just in case. Actually, if he manages to escape, where he's going to fly back to.
Ooh, that is a good idea. Quink's pretty smart. Yes, that's a good idea. Okay, I'll wait at the pub. When are you coming back?
Probably tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow. Okay.
That's
all right.
expectation.
Well, thank you very much for offering help. So he seems to like kind of compose himself a bit better, and you guys all, I guess, start to leave. What about this door? You leave it open? Close it? Say anything in the street?
I guess just leave it open.
Okay, so you just wander off.
I guess because then, actually, if it's not a particularly reputable area, then people will do what they want to do, and by the time anyone comes along, then it will be
cover this click. Yeah, you think that some other people are gonna have a bit of a sift through there because, like, there's nothing worth you having, but there's a bit of an old lamp and a bit of this and that someone else will probably be in there like a flash to steal. Okay, all right. So you guys just like. Do you say anything when you're leaving, or like or just slink off? Just out of interest.
No, I think we just.
Okay, you just saunter off.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you get back to the pub. No one has seemed to have like stopped you or kind of investigated. So either no one's raised the guard, or the guard can't just think that's like not interested.
Or there's very few of them left because they've all dashed down
for whatever reason, no one has bothered to accost you on the way back. Okay, so I guess you're gonna head south.
Yeah.
Okay, so you head south. Let's just think. Sorry, dude. Just around. Okay, so you head south, and not a lot happens. You meet the odd. There's a couple of caravans, and whatnot, going either way, but you may or may not talk to them, but it's not really anything that you discover that's worth noting. So you go down the stout road south. You eventually get to what is obviously like a pretty obvious fork in the road on the left, which you may even be just about managed to see like the edge of the walled garden.
Yeah.
So the idea of the walled garden is it's sort of like a really big forested, like a big park area that has like this, I don't know, 8-foot wall around it that keeps everything in, but inside it's basically got like a fake forest, like low trees, and they're quite spaced out. So it gives the illusion of being like a big park, but it's quite easy to ride a horse through. You're not going to get knocked over, so it's a bit faux.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess your halfling chap.
Yep.
What's his name again?
Clip.
He seems to know a lot about the Poldren family. I guess he
does know a lot about Poldren family, doesn't he?
He seems to be a hobby of his. He doesn't know anything about Hafton, like
where he actually came from,
but he seems to be very interested in the sword and whatnot. So give me an 18, 19, or 20. See if he knows anything about the wall garden.
11.
Okay, so he's aware of it, like everyone, that this
Yeah.
is the place that the Poldren family historically go for their famous full moon hunts.
Yeah.
Okay, but other than that, he doesn't know much about it. He knows it's kind of like a big park. It's big. I mean, it's really big.
You can see why the lycanthrope people think that they are lycanthropes, despite the fact that, maybe.
Yeah, I can't. Somewhere I got the things that make the. I don't know if you want to recap on the things that make the lycanthrope hunters think he's a werewolf.
Yeah, we'll have a recap just because.
Okay, I'm trying to. It's probably going to be. Basically, I'll try to remember it, but I got them written down somewhere. So he hunts. They hunt on a full moon. The family crest is a wolf on a gold background. There's bodies that are found on his land around the full moon.
Mm-hmm.
I think there might be one or two other like weird things they think is suspicious. Probably have an index here that will let me find all the things.
I remember those ones that you said now.
Yeah.
I guess.
And you think they seem a little circumstantial.
Hmm.
Okay, so pretty trouble-free journey. You turn up. The Chamberlain greets you. Says like, you finally got here. Excellent. What kept you so long? I got some weird message about you guys riding around in the middle of the night. And I don't know what all that was about.
We started walking first of all, and then just totally forgot a few bits of our kit.
Yeah,
So we made our way back, but yeah, we were obviously a little bit out of sorts. I think, to be fair, there was a bit of recrimination going on around the gang about whose job it was to remember the things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
It did seem a bit.
sorry that your guard got the wrong end of the stick on the thing there, but
He seemed a
totally
bit.
understand. He was very professional.
Yeah, it was a bit confusing because you guys were exiting via the north gate rather than like leaving by the south gate, which I would have expected.
But we knew the north gate a bit better because we'd been there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yeah.
He looks a bit like distracted. He's like got a lot of things on. Anyway, so he puts a little encampment that's outside it. So all our retainers and bodyguards will be waiting here till about till it's dark and the moon's out, and then we can do the hunt. So by all means, pick one of those tents and make yourself comfy. And so presumably you do you?
Well, just have a look around as well, I think.
Okay. So you have a look around. There's a bunch of tents. You can see like the normal guards and their black and yellow checks.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you see another tent set away a little bit, and you see what looks like the glorious ravens roasting a hog.
Well,
They haven't seen you, by the way, yet.
we'll just see. How come? Is the Chamberlain run off, or is he still?
No, he's there. I mean, he was.
How come these douchebags are there?
Oh, before you guys agreed to protect law and order, and he did hire these guys to help because he thought maybe he wasn't absolutely certain you guys would come along, and it didn't seem like the right thing not to like employ them anyway. So they're just extra backup.
Oh, good. And have you guys?
And they brought the Manticore down last night or the night before.
Oh, that's good of them. They can be the kind of the convoy boys if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody else there at all? Or kind of we just ask if there's any. We were like there was because we heard things in the about the forest up the ways there about like crazy parrots that turn colours and like blink squirrels, and because I think you said before don't feed the squirrels.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is there anybody that kind of deals in those things? Is there any
Blink squirrels. Well, there was a guy.
Anybody like some animal collectors or anything like that at all?
Well, there was a chap I think hanging around town last week who seemed to be trying to buy blink squirrels and what's his name, but yeah. I just heard about him through my kind of contacts.
Yeah. He didn't approach the Lord or anything like that at all. Or... He's not here, is he?
No, not here.
No. Oh.
But no, I don't think I don't know. He might. I think he sent a message, but I just burnt it.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
So he doesn't. He's not. He doesn't
He's
think Popo.
distracted.
He doesn't think Popo's here.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I mean, we could ask around the other guards and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just wander about and just have a chat with people and kind of see the lay of the land.
Okay, well, they just seem quite excited by the idea that there might be this hunt coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you go speak to the glorious ravens.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah, gonna have to.
Okay, well, let's see.
Bags.
They see as soon as they see you, they kind of like, they always go, oh, what? Oh my god, what the hell are you doing here?
We're like, you see, we see you guys came down with a baggage train and all the stuff that we captured.
Yeah, well, it seems like the Lord Pauldron, the Brave, trusted us with his valuable merchandise. It seems.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, suitcases and pants and socks and stuff. I hope you remember to bring his razor and shaving foam.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're entrusted with we're his elite bodyguard, don't you know?
Oh, yeah. Bodyguard of the Chamberlain.
We're getting paid very well for this gig, actually.
I'm sure you are. You guys deserve every penny.
I see you finally found some horses.
Yep.
They're no longer walking.
Walking's good for the constitution.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so I guess you have a bit more banter. They sling a few more insults your way, but it sounds like they have been hired as extra muscle.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I guess if you're suspicious of a double cross, I don't know if you think that might be the...
Well, I think it's weird that there's lots of extra people around and stuff. So, but anyways, we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued by this. This will be good. Yeah.
Okay, so there's like a cook. He kind of says he wants some scran and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a tent. There's a couple of spare tents that were set up presumably for you, which you guys can bunk down in. I mean, sounds like the idea is have some food, settle down for the evening. At some point, you'll be called in for the hunt.
Yeah.
And then after the deed is done, presumably kip down for the night and then go back with the Lord to collect your reward.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we're okay for food. We've got some lambus bread, so we'll have that and the thing. So
you're not trusting the food.
No,
I guess you're died-hard adventurers. You like only trust your iron rations and.
Well, there is that, but also just there's a lot of other things going on.
Even the halfling, he seems to have a lot of extra tuck on him always. He seems like he's scran.
Yeah, no, he does. Yeah, but he's got lots of extra bits and pieces anyway, so he's fine.
It's all right.
Okay. So I think just for
you're not gonna have a little nibble.
Nope. I think with this, there does seem to be an awful lot of kind of threads that could be naughty at this particular point.
I mean, I would say you do notice the glorious ravens tucking in. They don't seem to have any hesitation. They seem to have their own boar which they're roasting. And all the rest of it. And in fact, you suspect that they're taking this a little bit lightly. They seem to be like drinking a bit.
Yeah.
They seem to have a little bit of a little cask that gets being handed around that looks like, from your best guess, some sort of hard liquor. Doesn't even look like beer. But that's
interesting.
You hear words about keeping the chill away or whatnot. I mean, maybe this is why Lord Pauldron, who incidentally there is a large tent set away from all the people with his wolf head crest thing, which you presume, and that's where the Chamberlain buggers off to. But you didn't get the impression you'd been invited to visit or anything.
We hadn't been, or we had.
You have not. It wasn't like, oh, please come meet the Lord. He'd like to see you.
Yeah, I think that's.
But,
I kind of took that as a given that there wouldn't be anything there.
You get the impression you've been hired to do a job, but you're not mates or nothing.
Yeah, no, we just had that.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess
I got that impression as well from the first kind of interactions and stuff with him. So he's very lordly.
Yes. Yeah, and he congratulated himself very merrily on capturing the manor.
Yeah.
And certainly didn't say thank you or anything.
No.
Which you noted.
Yeah.
He just praised himself a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did ask him for the magic word, but I don't think he knew it.
Yes. I think the magic word is Clavence's magnificent.
It seems to be, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so and no sign of the manticore. You also, so obviously it's been kept at maybe perhaps a secure location. Maybe it's in the cage inside the tent.
I can imagine that they wouldn't want the retainers and stuff to see it in a bedraggled state.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you remember correctly, it's going to get prepared shortly before the event. I mean, so I don't know. Unless you want to do something, we could cut to the main event.
I don't think there's much to do, is there?
I guess you could change your spells or something. You could have done that the night before, because I think originally you picked some spells. You might want to stick with them.
I think I'm okay with those.
But it should be a cakewalk, so.
Yeah, no, I think I'm golden.
Okay, so in this realm, pigeons fly at night. I have no idea if carrier pigeons fly at night. They do?
I don't know.
These do.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, because that's when the other pigeon was released to tell the Chamberlain, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so basically you guys are getting ready. You see this pigeon come in and the Chamberlain go off to investigate, and then he rushes in and there's quite a lot of hullabaloo going on inside the tent, which you from where you are you can't really hear it, but there's definitely some this is whatever's arrived by pigeons has caused a bit of consternation.
Oh gosh. I wonder if
Actually, do you have any sneaky stuff? You've got sneaky boots, actually.
Yeah. The elbow boots, haven't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder if Bardurt might go over and try and.
You remember security was quite slack, right?
Yeah.
As well. Okay, so you got your elven boots.
Yep.
And because he won't make any noise, you only really relied on hiding in shadows. So it's getting dark, right? I don't think anyone's really expecting any trouble, but because you're so quiet, I think you can do a hide in shadows at 50%.
Well.
So you get 20% because you're so quiet.
Mm-hmm. Hey, 29.
Okay, so you pad up quite close to the tent.
Yeah.
And so presumably you're going to try to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so by the same token, what's going on in the tent is pretty loud. There's not really been a lot of concealing. So it's mainly the quality of the information you hear, okay?
Yeah.
So the closer you roll to 100, the better the quality of the information you hear.
That sounds exciting. Roll it for
Roll high.
Roll it for psionics, like every single character I've ever done. Ugh.
What do you get?
11.
11! Sounds like you got the wax.
Actually, almost that is the worst roll I could have done, almost. With on each dice.
On each, oh yeah, true. That's true, on each dice. Okay, so you got wax in your ears too. But basically you hear the words, let's just think. The words that you can basically piece together is Hafton Army Marching.
Oh gosh. That sounds exciting.
And judging by the kind of kerfuffle, it sounds weird. What that doesn't sound like, the Hafton Army's marching.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So he's going to come back and report. I guess you can't really.
Oh yeah,
if that's what we hear.
That's basically what he picks
so, yeah.
up. I guess if you hang around any longer, you're probably going to get clocked. But you might, I guess, at the risk of being clocked, you could try see if you can hear any more.
Is that enough? That's causing all of the issues.
I mean, of course, you can ask. You can ask the Chamberlain what's going on. I mean, when he comes out, because everyone's getting ready, right? So everyone's preparing.
I mean, we were preparing anyway, so we're kind of geared up, ready to go anyway, aren't we?
Yeah,
so,
you're ready. You're ready.
So, I think he'll just come back, and then we can always just ask.
Okay.
Because I think at the moment we don't really want to lose any either goodwill or
all right
potential for stuff.
Okay, so this is okay. So essentially, what happens is the chairman comes out and he says, "Right, okay, the main body of the men are going to wait, sort of like about 50 feet from the edge of a clearing inside the forest. You and the Glorious Ravens will be left and right of the Lord Pauldron, who'll be in the middle.
Yeah.
With the Chamberlain. He's got his magic Vormstort on him.
Yeah.
And I guess this is sort of like, here's a map. Okay, so first thing you notice when you get inside, there seems to be like a replica of the standing stones inside the wall
Oh
garden.
gosh. Okay. Yep.
So you and Lord Pauldron are here.
Yep.
Which side do you want to be on? The cage side or the cage seems to be here. The manticore is on the top of the hill, as described. It looks.
Yep.
It's kind of slightly boo-hooing. It's all wrapped up. It's got big, heavy sandbags. It's basically like a trussed-up duck.
Yep.
So you can either be, because obviously you guys come in like this, and you can choose to file to the left or the right. The right is on the cage side, and the left is on the, and around the whole clearing, there's all these torches that have been lit, or sconces, or whatever you want to call it. So there's quite a lot of light. Obviously, it's a full moon, so you're getting quite a lot of bright light.
Yep.
5 standing stones, low mound, trees around. So again, do you want to file left?
I think we'll go left.
File left. So on the opposite side to the cage.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, you know what? I might as well.
It's right. It's fine. Do you want to draw it?
You can draw it or tear it out. I don't think
Please don't tear it out.
I just print these myself, dude.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Well, do you want to borrow that as a sketch?
Okay.
Actually, what I might do. Sorry, dude. Let me bang in this for a sec. If I Okay. I should have given you a chance to speak to the Chamberlain if you wanted to.
Yeah, if you can. We're just.
Because while you're getting tooled up to go in and get position wise.
Is everything okay? That seemed like. Is there anything we need to be worried about?
What do you mean? It's all right.
No, there's like lots of raised voices and.
Oh right.
Lots of shenanigans.
Well, kind of very unusually, the army of Halfden is been mobilised, and they're basically on the way, very oddly, towards Humpton, which is a bit of a surprise because they sometimes do exercises, but they normally let us know. And normally, if they do anything, they head towards the Green Coombe Forest. It's quite unusual.
It's a worry, isn't it?
Well, it is a little bit. I mean, in fact, we're in a serious debate whether to cancel the hunt, but we're here, and
got a poster to paint.
yeah, got a painting. I've got to mention the bard and the artist are also part part of the retinue. They're not here now, but they are part of the.
They're ready to come over and
do their sketches and compose their songs. And in fact, the bard gave a bit of a rounding rendition of how brave Lord Pauldron is.
Very, very brave.
He is very brave. So, but yeah, he said this. I don't know what Aldrin's playing at. Frankly, why he's got a bee in his bonnet, because this is quite alarming. Frankly, I mean, I presume they maybe they know something. Maybe the Coppergate orcs or whatever have mobilised, and he's come to pull more support.
Whatever, yeah, maybe.
But it is quite weird.
Weird that, yeah. Maybe he's trying to rescue one of his chums or something. Who knows?
What do you mean?
Well, don't know. That's what I'm saying. I just don't know. Who knows?
Okay. Well. Anyway, that's a problem for tomorrow. So
it's going to be okay. Are they far enough away that we don't have to be worried?
Well, thinking about it, what we'll probably do is after the hunt, we'll probably have to head straight back. Actually, thinking about it, we won't be able to, and to some So to some extent, you when you guys are going into the wall garden, the retinue, the people who are also there are packing the tent up and the carts are being loaded. Basically, the camp has been broken up in advance.
Yeah.
You got the impression it was going to be a big celebration, but that's the barrels of ale and stuff that were being laid out, but now are being packed away. So whatever this news is, it's certainly caused Pauldron enough concern that he thinks he needs to get back to. But in fact, you almost get the impression this whole event's been moved forward a little bit, because like it's a full moon, but it's not really fully high. You kind of got the impression that you want a nice high moon for the dramatic hunt and help you see. But so you get the kind of impression maybe it's been brought forward.
Okay.
So can I borrow your pencil? I'm just going to mark you on that. You went to the left, right?
Yeah, we did.
Just so I have an impression of where stuff is. Okay. Sorry, dude, there's your pencil back. Okay, so are you happy with that answer? Do you want to go on, or you got more questions?
No, that seems fine. Yeah.
Okay. So, let's check my notes for a sec. Okay, well, I think, all right, okay, so Manticore's on top.
Yeah.
Lord Pauldron is like looking left and right at his gallant guard,
Yeah.
and he draws forth Vormstort.
Yeah.
Chunk. And then something very odd happens. It starts to hum. He looks at it like this, as if to say,
What the deuce?
"What the deuce?" I don't know if you remember anything about the properties of Vormstort.
It's an anti-lycanthrope one, wasn't it?
I think yes. I think it detects the presence of beings in a changed state. So things like lycanthropes or things like that.
Yeah.
Because lycanthrope, obviously, so it starts. So he's like, and he sort of like just holds like this. Very confused. The Glorious Raisins also obviously rubberneck at this, as if to say, "What the dickens?" Anything you want to do, or should we go on a little further? But I presume you draw your swords.
Yeah, swords are already drawn, bro. Swords are already drawn.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm just going back through the stuff that you sent before, just to see if there's anything about that to remind me. Sorry, man. So who else is with us?
So
it's us, the
Chamberlain, Lord and the Chamberlain, you and the Glorious Ravens. And to the best of your knowledge, this is the first time the sword has been drawn, perhaps since the last beast hunt, if there has been one.
Okay.
And Pauldron looks genuinely surprised, as if he's never seen this before. Obviously, he's heard about it because it's his.
And the Chamberlain, how does he look?
He also looks surprised, although a bit hard to tell when he's wearing a mask.
Yep.
But judging by his body language, he's also a bit like,
say what?
What the hell is that?
No, and so it's Chamberlain, Lord Pauldron.
Yeah.
No one else with them, and then the Glorious Ravens.
And you.
And us. Interesting. Okay, yep. So we'll keep an eye on people, I reckon.
Okay. So after this starts happening, from the let's just say, if on your map, at about 11 o'clock, a very large wolf creature appears.
Yeah.
And it's like this. It's like quite a serious looking and like quite scary looking thing. It's not just a wolf. It even looks like something beyond what you imagine a dire wolf might look like. It's it's properly scary.
Yeah.
So let's see who's surprised, because no one's expecting this.
Yeah.
Are you guys surprised? On a 1 or 2, you guys are surprised.
100, 100.
D6. 1 or 2, you're surprised.
3.
Okay, you're not surprised. Maybe the ringing of the blade made you think.
We just started looking around because we're consummate
What?
professionals.
Yeah. What about Lord Pauldron and the Chamberlain? Are they surprised?
Nope.
Are the Glorious Ravens surprised?
These guys are douchebags. No.
Okay. No one's surprised, amazingly. Okay. So. So. What happens? So at that moment as well, shortly after the beast appears, and you're all like,
has he actually entered this kind of circle?
So
or is he still just on the?
He's on by the bushes. I guess he must be. I guess
the other side of the.
Yeah. So I guess it must have come up high enough so that you could see it, because obviously there's a low rise, and in fact you're slightly up on the hill anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you can just see this like thing, massive wolf. Yeah. Okay, and then at about 9 o'clock.
Oh gosh.
3 figures appear from a bush.
Ooh, dirty.
You recognise the 3 figures.
Oh no! It's a piece of control.
It is Bella, Donna, and Mother. They immediately draw their swords and say, "We knew it! Oh wow, wolf!" And they start pegging it towards
the big wolf.
The big wolf thing.
Right.
And
all 3 of them.
No, mother's behind, looking absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
Give me a roll. Got to be high.
On a D6.
Whatever.
Or anything.
20 or 20. Give me. It's 18, 19, or 20.
Ooh, 16.
No,
That was
okay.
close.
But so they start immediately running, weapons drawn towards this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It took them a little while to come out of the bushes, so you heard this like crash, bang, wallop coming out like this as they come stumbling out, twigs and shit, and Mother's trying to wrestle Belna. Don't, Belna, don't! But her boxing glove like hand can't really grip.
Yeah.
So they start legging it, but she seems to like be kind of like she's starting to like to posture sort of change, and she seems to like really kind of like get this really determined look in her face.
Mm-hmm. As if she's about to change into a werewolf.
As if she certainly looks like she's primed for action. So basically, before she's acting like kind of a bit pathetic and like, but so you got the impression she was maybe along to protect her son.
Yep.
And obviously now they're running headlong towards what appears to be this giant
thing.
Wolf.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So, what do you guys do?
What we're gonna do? Right then.
So, let me think. The other thing that you notice that happens simultaneously is that the Glorious Ravens say, "We didn't sign up for this shit," and they start running.
Oh gosh, they're off, are they?
They just peg it. They don't even wait. They're just saying, "This, something about it meant to be a cakewalk or some shit," and they just leg it.
Okay.
The other thing that happens quite rapidly is you start seeing the Chamberlain start chanting something.
Yeah. Anything that we might recognise?
It sounds. I would say you probably are familiar with the sounds of arcane, that especially when it's that close, right?
Yeah.
And he's doing it quite loudly, so you can't really hear much else. But he's clear. You think he's clearly doing something magic. So, summarise: Glorious Ravens are legging it, screaming like big girls.
Yeah, pansies.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's rude about girls. They're screaming and running away, right?
Yeah.
The Chamberlain's chanting very loudly.
Yeah. Lord Pauldron?
Lord Pauldron's not doing.
Still got his sword in his hand.
He's still got his sword in his hand, looking a little worried.
And how close are we to the manticore at the moment? Are we like almost in the centre? Or are we like?
No, you're on the periphery. You could run towards the manticore, I suppose. You'd be there, I don't know, in like 15 or 20 seconds, or you could run towards the beast, which would take maybe 30 seconds. That the thing that's appeared.
Thing that's come out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a number of things here that we probably need. There's kind of, from my point of view, from my perspective, I think there's probably 3 potential threats. 2 of which are definites, one of which is a thing we'll see in just a second, although I suspect it's the thing. So, first off, let's get rid of the manticore, I think, just because get rid of any extraneous thing so he can just go and do what he needs to do. So it'll be my first kind of one of the things there, but also have people start to engage from afar.
You want to kill Pauldron's manticore?
No, we want Pauldron. I want Pauldron to kill the manticore so that he gets his thing.
Okay, well,
with his sword.
It'd be interesting whether he's game. He's pretty risk averse.
Yeah.
I suspect you'll find it hard to persuade him to kill the manticore when there's whatever this thing is. That's my gut feeling.
So me thinking about stuff aloud and things. So
I'm just telling you. I think in this he's not brave, so I don't think when there's a clear threat that looks far more dangerous than the manticore, will he go nearer to it?
Yeah.
In fact, so I'm guessing, looking at his stance, your best guess is that he maybe is thinking about running.
Okay.
But he hasn't run yet. He might be in shock.
So from my, as I say, to talk through stuff from my perspective,
go for it.
Obviously normally it would be a group of 6 of us. So the manticore is a theoretical lower danger.
Yep, it is.
Because it's supposedly had all of these things happen to it, but then everything about this kind of screams squiffiness.
It definitely, as far as you can tell, is.
Yeah, but that we don't know what.
I'm saying, for what you can tell on the face of it, it is rooted to the spot. With all the, at least even the sandbags are just like pinning it down.
Yeah.
It can't even like crawl away at the moment.
Okay.
But I'm just saying.
Then we've got the direwolf plus / werewolf / whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just come up on the thing here.
Yep.
And then also we have the Chamberlain,
Yep.
who is still a little bit of an unknown, and
True.
I suspect a little bit of a worry there. So is he going to do something that takes out the werewolf? Is he going to do something?
Yeah. Whose side's he on?
That's
Is that what you mean?
that's my concern on the thing. So
Okay. Well, you could nudge him and try to break his spell.
yeah, but then it might be a spell that kind of really helps as well. So
Yeah.
He did seem shocked when from what you say, the kind of the look of, whoa, what's going on here with the sword?
Yeah, you're pretty convinced that was a genuine reaction. He wasn't expecting that,
So
which implies he didn't know that the thing
the
was
thing
coming.
was there, yeah.
True.
So I guess with Bella and Donna charging towards the werewolf, or the big wolf thing, inglorious ravens running the way that they're running. So I guess the thing there will be, ultimately, Pauldron still wants to kill a manticore and be the one that you think. So
He does, but he also doesn't want to die
yeah, absolutely.
in the process.
So we've got these two guys running over with Mum potentially as well.
Yeah.
We can say to Pauldron, look, we'll escort you to the manticore. You kill the manticore with Dee Dee.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll take out this thing here. So we'll intervene ourselves between you and that. You go and get magical blood all over your sword and kill it and take the head back or something.
So you're currently explaining this to Pauldron, right?
But trying to kind of get him to move forward towards.
I understand. So the plan is to convince him to come with you to kill the manticore. Okay.
And I wonder if we then if with the fighters kind of being there, like ready in a shield wall type thing, and then maybe get the magic users just to fire off a magic missile each at the at the werewolf.
So so you're going to try to convince Lord Pauldron, and the magic users are going to clip off a couple of rounds. Is that the essence?
So yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. How long does a magic missile take to cast? Out of interest.
I think
It's pretty quick, isn't it? Should we have a quick look?
Can we have a quick look?
I think I know the answer anyway, but I think just see how short it really is. Do you want to have a quick look, dude?
Yep. I love that you got fireball.
How's that marked? Yeah. So, magic missile 1 segment. Okay, so what happens is you start trying to convince Lord Pauldron to do what you want.
Yep.
What's your charisma?
More so that just so he gets the credit.
Oh yeah,
That's what
I understand. You're trying to convince him to do it. So what's his what's your
highest charisma?
Yeah.
15.
15. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So he looks absolutely shocked that you were like you're trying to like get him nearer the beast. He's hearing the words, but you can tell he's like going like, and his sword's still going like this.
Yeah.
At that moment, Clarence disappears.
Yeah. Nice.
So you can't see him.
Yeah.
Or rather, Chamberlain disappears. You guys bang off 2 magic missiles, which zing off. What do they do?
It's 1d4 plus 1, and it's 1 per.
You tell me what.
Levels.
You tell me what. You roll it and tell me what damage.
2 secs. So 2 at 3rd level, 3 at 5th. So I've got Willen, who is 3rd level, so he gets 2. And then Han, who is 2nd level, and gets the 1.
Okay, so just tell me your totals, please, because they auto hit, right?
Yeah, they do. Oh, sorry, man.
No. You good?
There we go. Actually, one more. Sorry.
Yeah, no sweat.
Oh dear. 8 in total.
8 in total. That's a bit
Yeah.
low for 2 MMs. Okay, so they
3 MMs.
Oh, 3.
Yeah.
Oh, because
That's
I
it,
see.
yeah.
Okay, so they fly across and obviously hit this critter, which doesn't appear to be too perturbed,
Yeah.
but maybe the low damage is
Yeah.
whatever. Okay. Okay. So
So I guess if oh no, Karen, you
okay.
think.
So about a few seconds after they arrive, it lets out this like kind of really amazing kind of sound growl. I don't know what it is, just kind of like comes out of its mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to make a save versus spell at
Yeah.
-2. I think for your characters, I simplified them, gave them a unified saving score. So it's like save versus whatever is always the same number.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find that. Unless you want to look it up in the PHB, which or the DMG. I think I'm just going to go with.
Oh, here we go. Save versus all. There you are. Yeah. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So who we
they're
got?
different. So do you want me to just go down them?
Yeah, work it
As we
through.
go?
Yeah. So
Okay. So Ganther is 15.
is that with -2?
No.
So he needs
Do you need to score above it or below?
That's a good question. Okay, so yeah, roll above at -2.
Okay. So Ganther is 17.
Okay.
16.
Okay. Ganther, what's his level?
Level 3.
So that's 15. What's 16 minus 15? We
What?
can do this.
16
45. Yeah, 45. Why couldn't I do that? So 60 minus 15, 60% minus 15
Okay.
is 45, right?
Yep.
Okay, so roll under 45%, please.
Oh, okay. Yep. 21.
Okay, so he just starts legging it.
Oh gosh, that's no good. Okay. Barda,
Mm-hmm.
17, which is fine because he needed 15 or more.
Okay, so Bardert is
Which is fine.
Yep. So he's going to run for 6 combat rounds for the record.
Combat rounds.
Yep.
Fanic is normally 15, so he needs 17.
These are harsh.
Oh, 7. No.
So she's 3rd level as well.
Yep.
45.
Oh, 51.
Okay, whatever she's holding, she drops and legs it.
So I guess she would just had
Her staff, maybe.
a staff of healing though. Maybe just a whip.
Okay, so she drops a whip and
Whip.
legs it.
For 6 as well, or for longer?
No, 6.
Oh, this could be quite difficult.
This could be. I didn't realise this -2 is quite. I'm almost tempted to look up and see what it says in the book because I don't know if these saving throws are quite
So
hard.
Will is going to be 18 for a 3rd level magic user. 18! Yay! Nice.
Result.
Clip is going to be 17 for a 3rd level fighter. 3.
So does Clip drop his whatever he's holding?
Gosh, he would have had. I was going to say
Daggers.
he was going to shoot arrows and stuff at it, but
Okay.
I
Well,
guess that would be.
well then if his arrows, his arrows.
Yeah, 51 again. Oh, that's interesting.
So he throws his bow down and legs it.
For 6 as well.
Yep. He presumably had one arrow notched when he
Yeah,
ran.
and it was going to be one of those magic arrows as well.
Okay.
And then Han is going to be 18 with the -2.
Bloody hell.
Oh, 17, so close.
Okay.
Yeah, 39.
39. Okay. All right. Let's roll for Pauldron, shall we? 17. I reckon
What is
Pauldron holds his ground.
3rd level fighter.
Well, he's at least a 3rd level fighter, right? And
Yeah.
your guy needed.
17.
Okay, so Pauldron doesn't run, amazingly.
Good lad.
Bella, Donna,
Yep,
both run.
both ran. Oh dear.
Mother doesn't run,
Hey, what a mother.
but they're running back towards Mother.
Yep.
Oh, did they drop their weapons?
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go for it. So we go 45 for them as well, shall we?
65 for whoever was
Yeah.
first.
They're probably both going to fail, are they?
6.
Okay. So let's just say Donna doesn't drop a weapon,
Okay.
but Belna does.
Yep.
And they're legging it, hightailing it.
Oh dear.
Oh. Oh, I got a percentile here. I don't need a percentile. Okay. All right. So.
Oh, what about the Manticore have to do anything?
Well, it can't move, I suppose. But let's see if it's low enough. Well, okay. It starts whimpering like a big baby.
Yeah.
So you think it might be quivering, even though it's under the thing. Okay. So who's left in the precinct?
So Barda,
Mother.
Mother.
Who? I'm going to say as soon as the other two reach Mother, she's going to start
Going with them.
running with
I
them
think she probably would, wouldn't
Mhm. because she seems to be interested in protecting her son.
she? And then Willen.
So it's Barda, Willen, and you got 3, do you?
Nope.
Just Barda and Willen.
Yeah.
Okay. I reckon the Lord, even though he's made his save, is going to start running. He's seen all the other people running. There's 2 people
Yeah.
left behind,
Does he drop his sword?
but he's not scared.
But does he?
So he just starts running,
Yeah.
and it starts whining.
So Barda does say to him, "Lord, we could do with that sword to take this out for you."
I don't think unless he's like thinks that might save his skin.
Yeah.
He might hand it to
That's
you.
what we're saying.
Okay.
To take it out to protect you.
Who's saying this?
Willen,
Okay, Willen. And what's her charisma?
15.
Okay, so on a percentile, I think even that's hard. So I'm going to say 7. 7% chance he's going to like throw the sword at you as he runs. Yeah,
Jeepers.
because I think it's pretty precious to him, right? And he's not under fear.
Okay. Yep.
No, he just pelts it off.
Yeah. Thanks, you douchebag. Okay.
Bear in mind, your chaps are going to run for 6 rounds. You could tactically retreat. Your job is to protect Lord Polrin, or obviously you could take this thing on.
There's only 2 of them, though.
Yeah, and one's a wizard.
Yeah. And one's a thief.
Anything else you're considering doing?
But I'd say so there's a couple of things kind of floating around in the back of my mind.
Mhm.
So we've taken out the Manticore, as in we captured it from, and that was the thing apparently that Aldwin was, or a lycanthrope was getting him to throw bodies into the into thing there to try and disrupt.
Yeah, the Manticore said that he was compelled to
Take bodies
obey
over it.
Aldwin, who he said was a lycanthrope.
Yeah. So we've kind of taken out that would have been disrupting the kind of the general kind of morale of Hunton. So with the army on the march
From Halfton.
this massive thing suddenly appearing. So my concern is this thing going to try to? Is this a quasi-rescue attempt? Nice catch. Quasi-rescue attempt for the Manticore, which is kind of quasi why I wanted him to take out the Manticore.
Right.
A, so that he could get it done, but also
Yep.
done and out of the way, and not going to be a problem to us.
Yeah. I would say that whatever that beast did wasn't normally in your canon for lycanthropes, right?
No.
That's a bit unusual.
Yeah.
By the way, I did give you a hint that it was kind of chanting something when it was coming up the hill.
Oh, it was Chan. So I thought the Chamberlain was.
The Chamberlain was, but when I first introduced her, I did say it was kind of going.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
wasn't
right.
wasn't much of a hint, but then
Right.
the Chamberlain started like chatting over him,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
figured it was harder for you to
Okay.
spot it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I suppose I could have given Willen a chance to spot that.
No, not really.
The only thing I would, yeah,
I mean, they were busy chanting their own spells, weren't they? So
it's true.
they were casting, and I don't think they're kind of. I think if they were like really high level, they'd have that ability to kind of detach themselves and look at what else is going on. I think.
Roll wisdom for Willen at disadvantage. What's your wisdom?
Wisdom is 12.
So both those need to be under 12.
No, 12 and an 18.
18, right. I was going to say 12 would count. Okay.
What do we do?
So if I'm rolling for wisdom, it probably implies that she might have noticed something about that.
Yeah.
Which, of course, if you naturally notice, I would tell you, but I've got to give your character a chance to notice
Whether
something.
it's so I guess whether it's a shape changed thing. The lycanthrope. Well, they're not in their normal form, so it could be. It could be thing there. Okay. Right. So how long do these two have? Because we kind of, I guess we're not. Sorry, man.
So let's just put one round. We've used that one. This is the first combat round up. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, are these down to 5? Or
I'll just, well, could do. If you want to count down, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You can mark them 5 or I'll count 1. Okay. Because this is about to be the next round, right?
right?
So I guess you can either do a fighting retreat with Poldrin to kind of guard him,
Yeah.
or I don't know. What are you thinking? I guess I should be careful not to try
So as
to
part of the
influence
one, if
you.
I just go and slot the manticore, if I've got time, that was going to be my question. Have I got time to run up, slot it?
It might be tricky because it is all covered in sandbags and stuff. It could be coup de grace kind of thing when you're looking for the right spot and killing
Yeah.
it, but you'd have to leg it up there and kind of like hack at it. If you got lucky, you might kill it, I suppose. But you suspect that this thing is going to, well, best guess is going to have a go at you, right? Next.
If it's so, if we go up to the manticore, it has a good chance of getting to us.
At least at the same time, and given that it's quite a kind of wolfish creature, it might even
Probably gonna be quite quick.
might be faster than you. So it would be. I mean, it depends what it does. Is it going to go for the manticore? Is it going to go for the lycanthrope hunters, which are the nearest target? Is it going to go for Poldrin? Is it going to go for you? I mean, I guess it's a bit tricky to know what it is going to do, and it might win initiative, I suppose, as well. So it might hang on. I mean, you might have to declare your action before you roll for initiative. Obviously, you got more magic missiles, I guess. One of them does.
Yeah, only got one though. The things that we had before.
Oh, the
So
items.
the ring of the spider. Actually, who had that?
Mm-hmm.
No, don't matter. No, he's run. So
What did she have? She used it.
She
She had the scroll, which she
yeah.
used. Right. What did Barded? He had
the lotion.
Okay, and that was used
No,
up.
that was as well.
It's a bit unlucky. I guess you could have redistributed your wares amongst your
Yeah,
guys.
but I didn't say I did. So.
But would you have? I mean, would the wizard be the most likely to hold on to something?
I would say no, only because she can cast web anyway.
Can she?
I think.
All right. And I guess there's a little bit of a problem that I guess you might have been in too much of a hurry because you've been doing all this shenanigans and whatnot. Although you did have a bit of respite when you were having your dinner, not having your dinner.
So I guess so. I wonder. So I guess I think it's going to have to be. There's only two of them. It's going to have to be a fight and retreat. I think I can't
So you're basically going to like
back
off. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we roll for initiative anyway?
Yep.
5? Oh, 10. I do a D10. Sorry, dude.
Oh.
And whoever rolls the lowest is the segment they act on. So Manticore, he acts on 9.
I got a 1.
Oh, so you guys act first. So you guys start backing away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as you start entering the tree line, this thing starts running a semicircle around the edge of the. So
This way.
I'm gonna do it on mine, I guess. Yeah. So it was here.
Yeah.
And it starts bounding along this way.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's making a beeline for
either these guys or Poldrin.
Poldrin, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. If you roll one or two, something might happen.
Hey, a 1.
Okay. As it comes past where you saw the lycanthrope Kang disappear,
Yep.
a wolf-like creature leaps out of the bushes onto a humanoid-shaped, wolf-shaped creature, leaps onto the wolf.
Okay.
And sort of almost knocks it to the ground. So it intercepts it.
Yep.
So you have a giant wolf and something.
Wolf-shaped creature.
So
Or a humanoid.
Yeah. So a man-shaped creature that is a wolf that jumps onto
that,
knocking it over. For now, and it obviously attacks it. Okay, as you're backing away, what's your best wisdom?
12, I think. Yeah, 12.
Okay, give me that on a percentile.
So under 12 on a percentile.
I'm afraid so.
Nope.
Okay.
50.
Okay, so obviously, presumably you're focusing on this massive like tussle. Okay, what are you guys going to do? Keep going.
I think we're going to have to. There's kind of part of me that wants to like run in to do stuff, but these two guys they're glass hammers. They're not even glass hammers. They're
Okay.
I think they're far too weak to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Particularly.
It is. You've been pretty unlucky with your roll. Although actually, the saves are pretty severe. Okay, so as you're trying to back away and this like fight's go on, you hear basically someone shout from the bushes, "No, mother!" like that.
Yeah.
And I'll just say that. Okay, I'm just going to say what you see is like a shape drop from the sky, land next to the manticore, and then they both disappear, leaving sandbags, earwax, bandages behind. And at that moment,
Hang on. So where's the no mother thing coming from? Sorry.
yeah. So, so the fight's happening here between
between that thing and that thing.
It's coming from the bushes here.
Yeah.
It sounds like possibly Belner
Yeah.
shouting it.
But he was okay.
They legged it through the bushes, so that's where you hear the noise.
Yeah.
The manticore's here. Something drops from the sky.
Yeah.
A shape.
Yeah.
Lands next to Manticore. They both disappear.
Then everything is just left there.
And at that moment, so does the wolf-like creature also disappear. Leaving what appears to be a humanoid
humanoid wolf form thing.
very confused, which then that bounds, I guess, off northwards at great speed.
That way.
And I guess at that moment, you basically, I guess, you don't have to keep retreating, I guess, because as
Well,
you
I
can
guess
tell.
if Pauldron's still going backwards with.
Yeah, well, you're kind of pulling, you're kind of guarding back. But at that moment, you see the manticore disappear with
Yeah.
something was above, it dropped down from the sky,
Yeah.
landed next to the manticore, and then it and the manticore disappeared.
The thing that dropped down was it humanoid? Was it what was it?
It looked basically like an identical replica of the wolf, the giant wolf.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So I guess I guess what you figured out was there was something essentially hovering above,
Yeah.
levitating. It dropped down, and it must have cast a spell that caused the manticore and it to disappear.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the other wolf thing disappeared. When
Just disappeared.
it just disappeared.
And then the humanoid wolf thing's running off toward the north.
The humanoid wolf creature was obviously a bit confused,
Yeah.
and then bounded away.
That silver knife didn't work.
And then I guess Lord Pauldron's wobbling knife stops humming. Warm stort.
Right. Okay. Interesting. And is he stopped retreating as well? And
Yeah, he's a bit gobsmacked. He's
Yeah.
like, what the hell just happened?
no idea. But I suspect the manticore will be a problem again. That's kind of secondary now, but I guess it's just that he's a secondary character now. But
So after about 10 minutes, I guess your guys kind of come back.
yep,
I guess they pick up their stuff.
definitely pick up our stuff
Yep.
this time.
The Glorious Ravens haven't stopped running, as far as you can tell.
Yep.
The Chamberlain reappears, comes back.
Does he just reappear as in like just
No, he
appears
comes.
or walks in?
He walks in through the woods.
Right.
So
From
from south, I guess, from
Yeah.
behind everyone, because obviously he's decided everything. He's come to. He comes skulking in, right? Trying
Yeah.
to. He's always trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah.
and does anything happen with Bella and Donna?
Yeah, I just rolled. So they both come in, and basically Belner looks absolutely shell shocked.
Yeah.
He's not saying anything. He's just like, I don't know what I just saw there.
Yeah. And is the Lord's sword still drawn?
Yeah, he's still holding it.
And it's not doing anything?
It's not buzzing anymore.
So I guess we'll investigate A, where the manticore was, and B, where the beastie came in,
Mhm.
and everything, just to see if there's anything that we can see, smell.
It seems like whatever.
Detect like a magical residue, maybe. I don't know, just anything.
Yeah, magic residue. I don't know if that's even such a thing. Let's have a think.
I don't think.
I tell you what.
That's
No. Let's have a think. Okay, so what level is Swollen?
only 3.
3. Okay, what's her intelligence?
17.
Okay, so maybe she knows about this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Would she? I'm just trying to think.
She wasn't.
Let's
she
say it
wasn't running away as well. So
Yeah, that's
the
true.
other hand did, which is the other magic user, but she didn't.
Okay, so you know what? I think double her intelligence,
Yeah.
So what's that?
56, 76.
17 times 2 is 40. 40 minus 3 is 36,
It
is
says
it?
36, yeah.
Okay, 36. Okay. Roll on the 36.
On a D20.
Yep. Percentile. D percentile. So we say 36.
36, yeah.
Okay.
No, 60. Hang on. No, 94.
Okay. So
Wow,
she doesn't know what
completely not.
she didn't know what the what happened with that noise thing.
Yeah.
But what roll again one more time, please. Again, what was it? 36.
No, 48.
Okay. So I guess she suspects it was a spell.
Yeah.
There's obviously some magic been going on, but she thinks it's kind of odd that there was a
Duplicate.
duplicate.
Yeah.
And so something she thinks maybe there's some she's not aware of a spell that could do that, but she's wondering if it is some sort of magical. Maybe it was a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somehow, or there was two of them acting in concert.
Yeah.
But it seemed odd that the one that dropped down landed by the manticore, and then they both disappeared, leaving all the bindings and stuff behind. And the other one disappeared at the same time.
Yeah, and the other one just literally disappeared. So they were fighting.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything. It just disappeared.
Yeah, it kind of like as soon as they disappeared,
It disappeared.
it disappeared. Yeah.
And it was up until then. Sorry to go back on
Mm-hmm.
the thing. They were like it and Mama were properly like hacking at each other.
They seemed to be fighting. Yeah, I mean,
So it was a physical thing that Mama was hitting.
it did appear to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And our magic missiles looked like they impacted, but
They
it didn't affect it at all.
well, yeah,
That we saw.
they saw a hit, but I mean, I guess one thing you might observe is that if that power that it used to scare everyone was a spell, it didn't seem to
Interrupt it.
interrupt it. So
To watch out for Apache helicopters next time.
what? Because of the dropping down.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, I suppose if you were trying a rescue here, you might want to cause a diversion, right?
Yeah.
And the lycanthrope punters maybe didn't help you because they obviously then immediately engaged the creature.
Interesting.
So where is the manticore, and what appeared to rescue it?
So I think again, this kind of for me, although obviously the potential for the actual lycanthrope is Mama.
Well, you think the lycanthrope's mother, do you?
Well, she turned into something.
Did she? Oh, I'm just saying, did she? It was definitely disappeared into the bushes, and then something came out there was also appeared to be a werewolf around.
But then I think that'd be.
I guess you could speak to the.
But however, going back to
them.
my earlier kind of musings, was this then a rescue attempt to either silence the manticore so that it doesn't tell any further secrets about Aldrin, or
I guess who would want to rescue the manticore?
well, there's kind of only really two people, as far as I can. Well, I guess three, because we still don't know thing there. Although we did see. Well, no. So there's potentially three. So I think probably the highest one is Aldrin, just because he's one of his assets and a relatively powerful one at that.
According to the manticore.
Well, according to the manticore, but then also the half-tonners marching its army.
That is also a bit weird.
So it seems very coincidental.
But what? So you think
I
Aldrin
think
Sixtoe could be responsible, and he's sending his army, and somehow sprung the manticore.
Yeah. With potential for the Chamberlain potentially being involved somehow. I think he's just super suspicious.
Because he did disappear at the wrong time, and then something appeared taking the beast away. Although I guess
you kind of well, there's potential to kind of think actually he should have been trying to protect Pauldron during that time.
But I guess if the Chamberlain was responsible for the creature, shall we call it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you presumably would have seen him casting a spell?
Well, he did cast a spell, but I mean, he disappeared. But that
Yes.
could have been an artifact as opposed to
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, some magic item.
either could have been effect-wise.
Yeah, and then like hid behind the scenes, dropped down, captured the manticore, and then
Yeah.
walks back in, going, "Ooh, what's happened?"
Yeah, almost like
But he-
Superman.
But he did get surprised by the humming sword, right?
Yeah,
But that's
but was
maybe.
he
Oh, sorry, that was-
was he surprised by the beast?
He certainly didn't run away, did he?
No.
I mean, I guess what made the sword hum?
Well, I guess it's Mama.
Could have been Mama, right?
Made the sword hum. Because originally, kind of my.
But it's a full
instant
moon. Why
impression
is a
was,
full moon? Why is she not already a werewolf? If she was a
Ah,
werewolf,
but she might be a lycan rather than a were.
oh, tell me more.
And the ones that can control when they.
Oh. I'm unaware of such thing, but maybe.
I thought.
Well, I'll just say I'm not aware of that thing. So
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm not double bluffing you. So
Um,
she wasn't. She didn't appear. If she was her, she wasn't. She didn't seem to be triggered by a full moon.
Because then, if it was a beastie sent by Aldwin, who we think, but Aldwin we think is. Do we think was a doppelganger rather than a werewolf, or was he a werewolf? I can't remember.
Certainly, Manticore tried to pin on him that he was a werewolf, right? That's what he said. I guess what made him think he was a werewolf?
Because he only came around on.
He met him
He only came around on full moons and stuff.
He
wasn't
met
it?
him. Yeah, he met him at a full moon,
Yeah.
and there must have been something about him that, presumably, he was either. Well, he must have been in some altered state, right?
Yeah. I guess the Manticore didn't kind of go, "Yay, come to save me." So it's not as if it was a form that he recognised.
Well,
Although
in fairness,
actually,
he was still terrified by the roar thing.
Yeah. And then the third and final person, which I think is probably the least thing, would be Popo
Oh right.
trying to
Well, that would be a plot
get
twist.
animals and things. So
Oh right, interesting. He could have like on a secret mission to capture Manticore. Maybe he's a massive power. I mean, could this be a setup by Pauldron? In some way?
I think a setup of Pauldron. I kind of feel it's more a thing for that really.
It would have been
rather
quite an
than-
elaborate setup too.
Yeah, and also him just looking quite so. I think did he appear genuinely worried and in there, or is he the kind of like the typical aristocratic fop that kind of always looks just a bit dense and.
I think it probably looked. I think probably it's hard to fake.
His
Real concern.
emotions. Yeah.
If he did, he was a bloody good actor. Although he didn't run when it was when the roar came in, right?
No, he didn't.
Did I roll that in secret or did I roll it in?
You rolled it in secret. I
Did
thought.
I?
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because one of my things that I was thinking about, as I was chatting as we were going through, anyways, was the whole thing of taking Manticore out, slotting it, and the thing there, just because I didn't want it to, just in case it was a rescue.
You should have magic missiled it. In retrospect.
Well, I was going to web it,
Oh.
so I was going to web it, and because it was.
But if you killed it, you would have taken Lord Pauldron's prize.
That was my only. But then, actually, to be fair, there you just go, well, mate, just get over it. We, saved your life or whatever, and we'll find you something else to kill.
Yeah. Well, that's because you now know what happened, right? So you could have zapped it, right? Because you knew it was low on hit points.
Yeah,
Although it could have healed a
it
little
could have
bit.
healed a little bit over time, I think. because I guess although it wasn't that long, was it? It was only a day or two. And also the web had the potential to suffocate it if it was bound. So that was my kind of thought process of kind of that really. And then,
but like Dragon Slayer, you could have already slayed Manticore. Who knows?
sorry?
Like Dragon Slayer, if you'd killed it, you could say, "Come on, Lord, just dip your
No,
blade,
absolutely.
dip your blade and make out you do it."
Yeah, and because I guess that was my whole point of have I got time to go over there and just slot it?
Yeah,
And
it was
then
a good call, really.
Kind of going.
Probably if you have left dudes run away.
But yeah, I think having the two possibly. In fact, I think they are. Apart from Han is just weaker, but yeah, the two weakest characters not run, as in hit point wise, and actually then also hitting once it's up close and stuff with this thing.
To be fair, just to sorry to interrupt you there, I was thinking, I don't really, because I'm playtesting this.
Yeah.
I don't really like the idea that as the DM I can roll and take control of your characters. Like you're running.
Yeah.
Generally, I kind of like do that on NPCs. So I don't know whether you think that was felt like was too much of a
I think
cheap shot.
I think sometimes there has to be a degree of non-control for certain things because you can kind of otherwise.
Oh, I don't like to turn my character stone.
That doesn't happen. I think so. So actually, I think that very real risk of these things happening.
As long as
I
you
think
think it
makes
was
it
like
a little bit more kind of frictiony.
Yeah.
I guess having quite so many run was because even there were a couple of rolls that were close, and if it wasn't on the -2, it may well have been. I probably would have passed a couple more.
Yeah, true. Just for the record, what were the saves? Sorry, dude, I keep interrupting you. Sorry.
Right. No, I'm just wittering.
Okay. So fighters.
Yeah.
On a spell, let's say.
Yeah.
Is for 3rd to 4th level is 16. What have you got on yours?
15 you've given me.
So I give you
all. So
I give you better.
Yeah.
Okay. Cleric. What is she? 3rd?
Yes.
That's 15 in the book.
Yeah, 15 here as well.
Okay, that's fair. Magic user. I'm wondering if I actually gave you a bit harsh here because magic user is 12.
Ooh, 16.
I should probably correct that.
Well, do you think though that's because these are pre-generated characters with abbreviated
I've
abbreviated stats, so you could.
And I've also averaged them, I think, over the different criteria because I've used one for all.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's because I think maybe their spell is just good for that. And that's right. I can see magic users are good on spells because
the magic users.
I guess so, but everything else they're a bit more rubbish on. And thief is 15 for 4th level.
Oh, he's 13.
So better. They're giving you better.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually,
yeah, it kind of.
I just wonder if this +2 thing. I mean, I did it by the book, but -2 makes it really hard not to run.
But maybe that's the. But I mean, I guess is that the point that everybody normally runs, unless you know about it and you've done. You've prepared yourself, maybe.
Yeah, true. Maybe next time you have a bit of chance.
Disappearing and just go.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to see more people not run.
Yeah.
But to be fair, given how bad those stats are, you're lucky 2 even stood. Now 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I don't like I say, I don't really like seizing control. The paralysis seems fine, but fear feels like I'm.
I think it's a little. I guess it's a tiny bit like the Scarlet Widow Archer's horn against Goblin thing. That kind of classic battle that we had, and the whole army just ran and things. So there's a little bit of that, I guess. But then equally, there are some things where these guys aren't particularly high level, so they're not. Does it need the -2? That's up to you to decide, I guess. If you're moving forward and kind of look, because luckily there were some high rolls there that would have passed without the -2. But then, what would have happened? Would it? You saw my kind of frame of mind for thinking about stuff, and I guess maybe going toward the thing actually that you were trying to get have actually happen there, which is quite interesting. So.
Well, it was definitely a jailbreak.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I hadn't thought that you might try to execute the Manticore because you thought it was a jailbreak, which was interesting. So I thought, oh, that's a good idea. But because you're so light-handed. Also, in retrospect, you probably should have just not heeded the Lord's wishes, totaled it, sorry, and then explained to him, well, now pretend to kill it, buddy.
Yeah, but I think the only reason I didn't go up is because there was only 2 of us.
Yeah, but the magic missile,
Oh,
at
at
the
the
beginning.
beastie.
At the beginning, you could have probably
Yeah.
taken it out with 3 magic missiles, probably.
Yeah.
Although 8 wasn't really that much.
No.
It might have been, I
It
can't
would
remember.
do 2 1s and a 3.
Yeah.
That was the.
I was pretty unlucky.
Then plus 1 for each one. So.
Okay, well,
Hmm.
what next?
Okay.
What do you want to do? So, obviously,
I guess we'll speak to. So
Belner,
we'll speak to these 2 guys.
who are Belner.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you going to say? So
What's all that about?
they're both
right,
sitting
yes.
there looking absolutely shell-shocked.
Where's Mama?
So, all right, I got it. You were right. You were right. You were right.
Who was right?
You were right. I can't believe that. I'm absolutely shocked.
I mean, I guess the one thing to take from there is that she was concerned for you. So,
But she was a werewolf.
but so was that wound actually from testing with the silver knife, or what's?
Okay, well, like, Belder's face got really red and angry. He just looks really pissed off at that question, just for the record.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
He obviously doesn't like the question. So maybe I don't know. So they either did test her with a knife, or someone did,
Yeah,
and he still resents it.
yeah.
But it also didn't prove.
Prove the actual thing.
I mean, you might be better to ask. I think probably Donna's probably more.
I mean,
Less
we're asking
personally,
both of them, yeah.
yeah,
So,
they're together. So
Yeah.
Bella might be more amenable to questioning than,
yeah.
because I think so. Bellner's in a bit of shock, really, and
So
feeling
maybe,
incredibly betrayed and confused. I guess.
maybe Thanik will. Hang on, she's a half orc. I mean, maybe Ganther, who's the fighter, is relatively charismatic. Will kind of take Belder by the shoulder and just kind of console him and just kind of like, you know, man, I ran too. You know, there's no dishonour in these things, and kind of maybe just try to gently steer him away from Donna so that we could maybe just have a chat with Donna.
Oh, I see. So he's trying to like. Let's see. So instead of trying to peel Donna away, he's trying to like distract Bellner. All right. Okay. Well, I guess it might. Okay. I guess like he's not really probably paying attention, but he's now less paying attention to what's going on behind him. If you know what I mean.
So we'll ask Donna about Mama.
Well, again, she's like a little bit like as if she's been in a cart crash or something. It's just like, what the hell? But basically, she said the beast started to come towards us, and basically, Mother said, "I'll protect you, Belner." She then squashed something into her eyelids. I don't know what it was. It looked like some sort of berry or something, and then basically she transformed into a werewolf. So I don't know how and then she just tried to take out the beast. I think she was trying to protect Belner, but I don't think he'll ever quite understand.
Oh gosh.
And thinking about it now, I think she's been following us to protect us rather than I don't think she's the werewolf we've been trying to capture. But she is ultimately a werewolf, and I don't know. Belner's never gonna. I don't know if Belner will ever recover, because I think he probably, because they think the beast was coming for them. I think she saved our lives, but we're sworn to kill all werewolves. I don't know whether we can just let this pass.
Oh dear. So does she know what she crushed into her eyes?
So I don't know. It looked like some sort of looked like a black mass, maybe some berries or something. I don't know.
Okay. So it might be worth just going over and just...
No, wait up.
Oh.
Take it back. Roll me an even, please.
Nope.
Okay.
Odd.
So I didn't really see it properly. Something. It was black. It was dark. I couldn't really see it.
And there's very little chance, I guess, anyways. But I guess a couple of us maybe just go over to where the area where they were, just see if there's anything we can see there, in a similar way to that we did with where the.
Okay, so I guess
were,
all her clothes are kind of on the ground and stuff. Is that what you mean? They'd have been like...
Yeah, just see if there's anything. If there are maybe some crushed.
Okay, so all right, so
berries
you go
or something. Or...
So you go to her stuff, and she's not carrying very much normal travel stuff. But the two most notable things you notice she's carrying is stone-cap mushrooms.
Interesting. Pocket those.
And
everything comes back to stone-cap mushrooms.
And some belladonna, some berries.
Belladonna, right?
Some leaves and some of the berries.
Yeah. And are any of those? Do we see any kind of crushed ones around?
I think it's a bit of a while.
Yeah.
Go on, if you can give me an 18, 19 or 20, you might see if something's crushed around there.
No.
Okay. So
far from it.
There's a lot of trampled. There are crushed things, but there's a lot of trampled stuff and whatnot. But I mean, the only thing is, I think you could obviously reflect on the properties of the stone-cap mushroom and belladonna, because Sally told you some stuff about that.
Yeah,
right?
for real. So the stone-cap forestalls the lycanthrope thing there, whereas I imagine and belladonna cancels the effects of the thing. So whether she's then and actually no, there was the whole thing of putting it directly into the eye, wasn't there? Mm-hmm. Sure.
So
like that. So whether the belladonna then she's been taking low grade stone cap just to stop herself from turning.
So she could
just squished with this particular thing there.
So she could have been taking stone cap mushroom to forestall the property of changing, right, during the full moon, and then when she sensed danger, she cancelled the effect with belladonna so that she could attack.
And interestingly, I actually said about to turn into a werewolf.
It's
quite amusing.
You did.
It's quite funny.
Because actually, right from the beginning, you thought she was a werewolf.
I did, yeah.
And in fairness, I just thought it would be funny if werewolf hunters had a
werewolf with them.
Without a werewolf with them as their mother. That was your first guess. I thought, my fine bags. I immediately spotted it. And then you did that test. I thought, bloody hell. And then you said, get the mother to do it. I thought, bloody hell. He's going to be exposed in the street. And then I thought about, wait a minute.
I think that, interestingly, that didn't kind of really... I didn't really twig there where you were going, oh, I'm not sure that's a thing, actually. I'm not... You can kind of see now, kind of looking at it, kind of thinking, oh, gosh, she was backpedaling there.
But I did think about it. I thought, basically, silver affects lycanthropes when they're in lycanthrope form, but not when they're in human form.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just go around stabbing people with silver daggers. And then, you're a werewolf.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Might be interesting if there's something, maybe if you mixed some of their blood with silver powder or something. I'm just thinking of just off the cuff, like other things of, potential ways for people to...
Is there a film where they basically get the blood of some creature and they stick like a hot poker in it and that proves it's...
It.
It?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I was just thinking about that, actually.
Get some blood and then wait for the full moon and then see if something weird happens to it.
Yeah. Or even not, because it's in the blood.
Oh.
If you then added the silver powder or certain type of thing, some kind of alchemic...
Chemical?
Alchemetric?
Alchemy?
Yeah.
Alchemetric
process? Alchemetric?
Sounds a bit weird. Alchemical?
Yeah.
Alchemical process.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, whether there could be something that you could do. I don't know. It'd be an interesting one just to kind of have a proper think about.
Yeah. Interesting. A bit of lycanthrope lore.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we've got two choices. We can press on.
Yeah.
Or we can we could call it a short session, or we could you could because obviously Pauldron's, now that all this shit's hit the fan, he's like upset his Manticore's being nicked.
Yep.
He's now got another pressing matter that appears to be some weird halfling army on his border. So he's still a bit of shell shock, but he's trying to get his guys together to.
So I guess, I mean, if we're able to ask the Chamberlain any questions, that would be, first of all, where the fuck were you?
Yeah.
And second of all, have you seen anything like that? We don't recognise it as anything
Okay.
that we're...
Two things. I'm just trying to decide what all the kind of men, the kind of entourage would be doing, because there would have been like people pegging through the.
Well, the vainglorious.
Yep.
Buzzards.
They would have headed out of town quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, So I don't know. I guess they're just in a bit of turmoil, and then Pauldron will try to like rally them to let's get them moving. But okay, so the Chamberlain is like
these guys. Can we make sure that these guys don't get captured?
the lycanthrope hunters.
Yeah.
I think everyone's just ignoring them for now. I think everyone's just
Kind of
confused.
Maybe tell them, look, guys, just go and hide.
Yeah. Okay. So I think they will basically, even.
I'll have that fucking ring back, you dickhead.
Well, he did say. He said that basically I commanded it to stop with the ring. You probably didn't hear it, but it didn't seem to work.
Interesting.
But you kind of remember thinking it was a fake, right?
It was a fake. You did say a thing there, and also
So they're a bit confused
that
by that.
probably wasn't theoretically the lycanthrope. Mama was the lycanthrope.
Yeah. So I think with your chivying and partly probably their own self-preservation, they sort of start blending into the woods before anyone really realizes that they were around.
Yeah.
They're going to be remembered eventually, probably.
Yeah.
But it was quite clear they were trying to fight this beast, so they're probably not in the frame for. But still, they're not very popular. Generally. So, like I say, I'm still a little bit worried that I need to, in terms of playtest, whether having the fear thing is like too. What do they call it? Taking player or agency away.
It's difficult.
Because I imagine you've had 6 characters, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Like you used to have 2 to play with, right? Yourself. Yeah. How do you feel if
if I only had one character and I was running?
Yeah, and they got like 3 other people at the table. Maybe right.
I think though that's at that point. If you were doing like a gaming thing there, you could have. If you knew that something like that was coming up, you could then have something that if you were doing stuff that was interactive or anything, you could have something that particular player has to solve before they can come back and get control of their character again. So if whether you give them even just something like like 6 d20s and you've got to roll. Each one of those d20s you have to roll a 20 on. Yeah. And until you do that, you can't play or anything there. So I guess give them something to do.
Yeah, every round give them a save.
Yeah.
And to a maximum of 6.
I guess if you're gonna absolutely, and then kind of 6 you automatically pass. You kind of come to your senses or
So that way at least
you could give them something to do in that time as well. So you could go, if you've got I don't know, I'm just using. You could have puzzles for them to solve or anything like that would then potentially give them back control. Yeah. But if you could even go, if you're rolling, let's just say that 60-20, I'm just throwing stuff out in the wind. Sure. For every 20 that you rolled, you would get a +1 on. Maybe I don't know. They're just things that you think. I guess the only thing though is there is some stuff where. We have the characters, and I know I'm slightly guilty of it, where I don't like low stat scores across the board. You can have 1 or 2 that are fairly low and stuff there because these are supposed to be exceptional. Yeah. I was going to say human beings, but they're not. But exceptional characters, exceptional individuals. Yeah. But even they will be affected by things at some point. that, you don't necessarily have control of, or
Yeah. I mean, it's in the rules for whatever's going on. So it's not like I've
but
just.
it's whether that's just your kind of personal thing and taking, as you say, taking away kind of.
I guess the other thing to ask is, what about next time? So next time these people have experienced the fear, maybe the -2 doesn't count anymore because
from that particular thing,
they now have chances to steel themselves,
or like embarrassed that they ran before. I mean, or you could even, depending on how badly you'd have to try to remember those things. But you could almost go, depending on how badly they failed. If they rolled a critical failure, then actually they might have a negative. So not, maybe not the -2 because they're ready, but it would they'd permanently have a -1.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an interesting until they get like a heroic thing that kind of then comes to
Face
mind
the
and goes,
beast.
oh my god, why? Why would I find that scary?
But
That's actually, that happens in real life. That does happen in real life.
Yeah, people can get a phobia. But I feel like maybe there should be a reward, at least some benefit of meeting the creature before now. So if you meet him again, it'd be nice to say, well,
unless it was a spell, which I mean, it's a versus spell, but unless, as you say, because if it was grumbling and doing other bits and pieces, whether that was like a fear spell or cast fear or cause fear or whatever, then I guess those things are magical, unnatural thing there, and unless it relies, and then you could argue and say stuff like, well, actually, for this particular thing, if it's doing this spell or whatever in that particular way, then yes, you would be ready for it. But if it was someone else casting a fear spell, then
it might be a different embodiment.
Their way of casting that fear spell may well be, I don't know, blood to come flying at you or something, or it's just something,
So, but again, like for this, like you're probably not going to experience if it's a spell, you're not going to experience. It's probably very rare that you ever experience this spell twice, right? Because you probably get the fear as and you run away. So if you're going to meet the same creature doing the same spell, I reckon I'd be thinking you've got more chance of resisting it. So maybe the -2 come out. And I guess the other thing you've got to ask yourself is, can you prepare in any way for if you think you might meet this again?
Yeah. But I guess
there's anything you can do to.
That's part of the whole saving thing, though, isn't it? So. I guess that's why the saves get better as you get higher level, because you've seen stuff more often, and/or there's part of it where you kind of go. It's almost like being some of the stuff that I think with these things is almost like being in an emergency situation where you have people that have dealt with it a lot that are just really calm because they've dealt with it a lot. Almost like in films where you see stuff just slow down and everything just go quiet, and you see everyone running around like screaming and stuff like that, but actually you just got this, if you're in the position of that character where they're just looking around going, okay, that and that, or Saving Private Ryan, where he gets over that fear and then suddenly becomes very clinical and able to do things and use his experience that way. It has that momentary thing, but then actually overcomes that, and because sometimes you might fail, sometimes you're only
you can't
human.
Only half orc.
Yeah, for real.
You're only half orc.
You're only mortal. Maybe that's a better way of putting it.
So I guess next, if you think you're going to come against this creature again, I guess we need to think about whether you've got some increased immunity, and also is there any tactical shenanigans you think you can do to? Because if you think, well, his go-to is this, how do we defeat it? I mean, I'm putting it out there. I'm not suggesting you have the answer yet, but it's certainly.
Yeah, and whether it's a thing, like just trying to give, like almost like a historical or kind of real world type things where, quite often there'd be, like bagpipes for. And drums and stuff for regiments and stuff going into battle, or the guys going in and just batting their swords against the back of their shields or in front of their shields, just to kind of psych themselves up and kind of or in some cases the absolute silence of some regiments and the Spartans or whatever, who would just be really quiet, and I think that was their mental way and their psychological way of kind of overcoming that natural fear of about to go into something where you're quite likely to, if not get injured, then get killed. Yeah,
or get an injury so bad that you perish anyway from infection.
Thing, and or you have to have your mates put you down or whatever. So I guess that would be the thing, isn't it? Is it right? I know this thing is coming, so different characters might deal with it in different ways. So like the fighters may well just psych themselves up and scream back at it or whatever.
Yeah.
Or,
Okay.
you know.
Anyway, it's definitely overall. I mean, if you're going to try, if you meet this thing again, I guess you might.
Need
I'm
to
not.
explain.
I'm not making any suggestions,
Need
but
to
I
try
guess.
and make a thing of
But can you figure a tactic that might
help on the thing there. Yeah.
I don't know, because I genuinely have not thought.
Yeah.
So
I think it's, for everything like that though.
Yeah.
This is a really good.
Yeah.
Because quite often, you know, certainly, for a lot of stuff, it's just, and again, sorry, I go back to my kind of personal experience of my job, my role.
Yeah.
Is repetition. Is seeing it so many times that actually, and then analysing it afterwards and going, is there stuff that I could do better,
Yeah.
that makes that thing, and then just being able to almost detach yourself from what's going on in front of you to then go, yes, this is needed
To get your job
and
done.
then,
Yeah.
you know, that's the whole thing, you know, getting everyone to gel that way. So then almost, and kind of sometimes there is kind of it's weird. It's not quite. I don't do it at work. I know I don't do it at work, but kind of in my mind, you kind of think, oh, maybe like ethereally coming out, attached by the silver thread to your body, kind of looking down, going, oh yeah, no, that's cool. Then we can do those bits and pieces. So, yeah.
All right, interesting. Well, I mean, the other thing is like for a play test. I mean, I think I got the impression you like psyched up for this great big fight that you're going to have. Do you feel it was a bit of a cheap shot that like? That
No.
you're kind of like,
No,
what happened? It disappeared.
But I think with all
I'm
of this
just curious.
stuff, I think. Do you know what? I think possibly. I think a few years ago I might have been a little bit disappointed, but part of it, and part of this stuff is the podcast and stuff that you've got me listening to. So that solo play ones, so Telemantical and other ones, where actually there has been a lot of stuff that, as the whole thing of this is dice. That's the whole point of this thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, the dice rolls are there, the scores to beat or get below or above are there, they're down for us to be looking at. So actually sometimes the control is from the dice. So, you know, you get a natural 20 on a hit. Perfect, and that's the thing that kills something.
Yeah.
Your next round you get a 1 or whatever, you know.
But at least the 20 is meaningful, right? So it's like
Yeah,
you can
so-
like actually enjoy it because there's no without because you know this. I used to think that fudging was fine back in the day, just to make the experience overall like happy. And I didn't do it that often, but I thought, oh, that's a bit much or whatever. But I think if you know that your character could die if you get a bad roll, then you actually make decisions that are going to be more like meaningful. Because like, yes, if I go into battle now, because you had those two guys that they could genuinely die. Run like, oh, I'll run in and you know.
Who cares? They could, you know, it's just paper, so who
And,
cares?
and also, you know, like, oh, he didn't hit after all.
Yeah.
It's only one hit point.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know that. What's going to happen now is what's going
I
to
think
happen.
that doesn't always, and I think that's in some ways certainly the podcast stuff has done that, where you're just like, oh my god, you just let that person die, like, you know. But that's the dice roll that have happened.
Yeah.
And in some of these cases, you know, there's been some great times, but actually with all of this, I think having, you know, oh, give me a 18, 19, 20, oh yeah, 2, you know, and you're almost like, but then having. And like trying to talk to the guard through it. Of, oh yeah, you've pretty much you'll be golden. But actually, no, I mucked it up. Probably mucked it up. So, and I think,
But also with
expanding on that then, and kind of giving the background of stuff, or kind of just explaining why that dice roll is quite so bad, or whatever is quite is part of the whole thing as well. It's the storytelling aspect.
and I think
isn't
you know
it? So,
Cliff has had some like magic rolls when he was
Yeah.
like learning stuff, which is like oh well then you do happen to know that the Lord Pauldron had like 2 sisters. You know, that was quite good fun, but
yeah, and that I think is then kind
it
of
really
it's
changed the
informed
story.
This whole adventure hasn't it?
Massively,
So-
because
So yeah, absolutely. You know, it may well have been. I mean, that seemed like my initial thing of when you said, "Oh, you know, those magic missiles don't seem to have affected it." Like initially, I'm thinking, "Oh my god, this thing's so powerful, it's nothing," or it's immune to magic, or as may well be the point now, maybe it was either a simulacrum, or a you know a mirror image that actually was the thing, and the actual thing was above.
Okay.
And no one was
Interesting.
looking up just because that's not where we weren't thinking in 3D.
Yeah, because this is why I got you to like roll like for a wisdom, because I was thinking your spellcaster probably would have thought to himself, how did it let off a spell or spell-like ability if it got hit?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you haven't thought of it, and that's fine. There's only one of you playing, but I think there's a fair chance that your spellcaster.
Yeah.
So I got to give him the benefit of the doubt sometimes and say, well, if you think of it, great, but if you don't, then I still think there's a chance that
I think
they
for
should get
me, I missed the cue of it coming. I kind of just took that as a like rah thing, as opposed to a incantation type thing.
Yeah.
So I missed that. I missed that clue on there.
Well, I've got a recording, so you'll be able to listen later. So you can see if it sounds a bit more like.
But in my mind, I'd already.
I know, but it'd be curious to see if you hear it again.
Preconceived stuff to kind of go. That's what it is, rather than. And I think that's the. I think as you've been doing, that's the trouble of having just one person play.
A bit,
where,
yeah.
You know, I'm stuck in my ways for certain things.
So I did wonder, like, if there'd been 6 of you, like, did he just do that a bit weirdly? Do you think something else is going on here?
Yeah, or the whole thing of there's this great big thing that's bigger than a direwolf and looks really hard and stuff there, and everyone's going, "Oh shit, what am I going to do?" Type of thing there, and that. But then again, that for like low level players is the thing that they would be doing. You know, they'd be thinking, "Oh shit, what have I got that can possibly hurt this thing?"
And I think like the old school thing is like, well, it's not. There's no fair fights, right?
Yeah.
So if you happen to stumble across a ancient red dragon with like 99 hit points and like a breath weapon that's gonna, you don't fight it.
Yeah.
You run away.
Yeah,
so
this is it.
because when you're left with your two dudes, you thought, well, it's not a fair fight. If I go into this, I'm probably going to be.
They're probably toast.
So I could tell it was a tough decision because like you didn't want to like leg it, but you're like, I just don't have anything left on this. So
I mean, I think so. Like she had one magic missile left, but she had web. So my whole thing was whether I web. But then I was thinking they can't really defend themselves. So if she takes a while to cast web, if I don't get the because
initiative.
We'd already said what we were going to do before we rolled initiative, and I think that's right as well. So rather than going, oh, I've won initiative, actually I'm going to do this.
So that's why I said like let's have the action first because
and I think that's the best way to do stuff because that almost. Sorry, man. Lots of analogies and lots of kind of.
But you did win initiative, which is interesting because you could, if you'd done it, you might have got away with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Might have. In my mind, I wasn't. Don't take it.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. But in almost in the same way of kind of almost like wargaming, where they kind of go, I'm going to shoot at that, and not measure distances beforehand, and and then kind of go, oh, actually, if it's an overkill, everything's gone into that anyway. So actually, that type of thing.
Have to call it,
yeah. So it is. So I think there's kind of there's form for that type of stuff already, and I think that just makes your decision count more. I think rather than
of course, because that's it. You go like if you can just like say, well, I'll fire one arrow at a time, roll it. Okay, I've got 6 left. I'll shoot them over there. So you got to call it. I mean, what again? My paranoia with this setup is that I don't want to feel too much like a cheap shot because there was the ability to stop it. It wasn't preordained, but the if you like, the baddie had thought out his tactics and he thought, right, I'm going to do this. So I'd like written it down, like this is what they're going to try to do: cause a distraction and then try a rescue or whatever they're doing, or kidnap or whatever you want to call it. And so, these things happened. Lycanthrope hunters were there, so they were going to come out. Yeah. They're the only ones who wouldn't be surprised because they're expecting a lycanthrope, right? Yeah. But you all didn't surprise, so that was kind of interesting. And then basically, obviously, the Glorious Ravens are just going to leg it because they're not getting paid enough for this stuff. And the douchebags. So then it's like, well, what do you do? And then, I guess you could have killed the Manicle, which is not what I thought about at all. I thought, oh, yeah, you could do that. But, the old adage in like dungeons, always look up.
Yeah.
And the moon is quite low.
But I didn't.
And there's all the sconces around the outside, so they're kind of doing bringing the light in, so you're focused inwards, and obviously ruins night vision and stuff. So picking up something that might be, but there's a chance you see that as it's coming across, it could be picked up on the full moon. Yeah. But again, because it seemed that you guys were so fixed on the. Especially when the werewolf mother came out, because I rolled her, I thought on a 1 she's gonna, because the idea was if they were in the fight with the werewolf, she would transform to defend Belner. Yeah. So that's her whole thing. She's only there to protect him.
Yeah.
And she's like, they think she's a nuisance, but she's actually like a bit of a bodyguard, just secret. Because well, actually I won't say anymore, but she's a bit of a bodyguard. And as it came running this way, I thought, well, she might misread that.
As
an attack. So I thought, if I roll a 1, she comes out.
Yeah.
A 1. I thought, oh, all right, well, let's do it.
But I think that's, as you say, for some of that stuff, that's the thing I think that's just been quite refreshing for listening to the podcast with the various different players kind of doing their thing and
what the solo play stuff.
Yeah, the solo play stuff with kind of. That's the dice roll. I said if I rolled this, then that would happen, or or give them this chance to do these things. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, and sometimes it's really good, and other times awful, like shockingly bad. And sometimes what I've quite enjoyed about it is some of the things where you just go, yeah, that would just happen, but actually it doesn't always just happen. Most of the time it happens, but there are those rare chances that it doesn't happen. So, and I think that's where that's the whole point of the dice. Yeah. That's what we're doing. And yes, did we have a massive fight? No, but were there lots of dice rolls? Absolutely. There were, yeah. There was a few hit points taken off, but actually, from the perspective of like, if you step back a couple of times to where we took out the Manticore initially, well, there was barely any hitting involved in that at all.
Well, there was. I guess there was
perfectly. So actually, it's a reverse thing of
perfect heist. Yeah, it's a reverse heist.
Yeah,
it's true.
So and so from that perspective, I can't really complain because they played us.
Yeah,
so it's
that's true. And then it's interesting because if Mother hadn't come out and hit the thing, then I think it would have been into you, and then then there would have been trouble, right? Yeah. And then of course he would have kidnapped it and disappeared. But there could have been like a pretty violent round. Before that,
and I think obviously, I don't know. I mean, it was massive and fairly hardcore against two really quite weak characters, especially hit wise. But potential of one-hit kills. With no one else around to
no meat wall to stand in the way, right?
Absolutely. I mean, even the meat walls, not that meaty. So 22 hit points on Ganther and.
If it's as big as bad as you think, you probably don't want to go. No. You might not want to go head to head, or you want to be clever. I don't know, but it's certainly. But yeah, if Mother hadn't come out, then I mean, it might have ignored you. Maybe it was going for Pauldron.
Yeah,
maybe it was.
That was the whole thing. I didn't quite know there, and then that was the whole thing of, what do I do here? Do I? He's backing up. He's not left the sword, which would have been really helpful to. That my whole thing there was to I think if he'd left the sword, then I probably would have been slightly more inclined to certainly go forward, if not like take out the Manticore so the blood is on the sword at least, and then he can just come and pick up the sword and go, oh yeah, I threw it, whatever he wants to say. But also then have the chance of if it were my immediate assumption was it was some kind of almost like mega lycanthrope. Is the immediate kind of thing. So whether it's an alpha or anything like that at all, I don't know. I quite like that I don't know as well.
What was interesting is that Mother was a bipedal type.
Yes.
Creature, and this wasn't a bipedal creature.
So like a wolf.
So is it a different
wolf where?
Yeah. Is it a werewolf in an altered form?
Yeah.
Like I haven't looked in the monster manual for a while about werewolves. Because like vampires, they can like be bats or blah blah blah. So is it like some, as you say, turbo?
Yeah.
Steroid like kind of upped.
Yeah.
Lycanthrope, or is it not? Is it something else?
And is it?
Maybe Mother was trying to kill the other lycanthrope. Maybe this is the original lycanthrope.
They were looking for, I think with him. Not running, the Chamberlain just disappearing and doing whatever the Chamberlain's doing.
Yeah.
Potentially rescuing the Manticore.
Yeah, well, he's definitely not around when somebody comes levitating in, right?
Yeah, for real. And also, like, the issue of him just in general anyway, with his mask and all the other bits and pieces kind of going on.
Yeah, so, he looks surprised. His body language looks surprised.
He's drawn some surprised face on his mask.
Nice little higher on his brow.
Yeah. So all of those things kind of, I think it probably would have been easier if Pauldron had run. potentially dropped his sword.
Yeah, well, this is it. He could have run and dropped his sword, right?
Yeah,
And-
and then, obviously that was the reason why I was asking if he just threw it down or whatever.
Because again, that was just luck. He rolled
Yeah.
17. Like, in fact, I think I did roll in
Yeah.
front of Pauldron. So he didn't run, and so he didn't drop his sword. But you're right. He was much more likely to run and drop his sword, which
Yeah.
would raise a new problem, a new
Yeah.
dilemma for you, right? Whether you
or
would have,
opportunity.
yeah, whether you would have like,
So, yeah,
you would have then thought, well, maybe I can fight.
yeah, yeah,
It still might have been unwise. You never know.
yeah.
But okay, so
So all in all, it didn't. I don't because I think you get really quite. You've been quite concerned about there being not much kind of
yeah, fighting.
fight. Is that how you say it?
fight. But more.
But we've rolled loads of dice. There's been loads of
Mm-hmm.
kind of. There's been loads of
Yeah.
role playing, and that's what it's all about,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it? I think so. So yeah.
Like I say, I mean, I guess the whole point about play testing is to figure out whether this is satisfying in this experience.
Yeah.
And trying to get this balance right, because like so far, you are unlucky in the forest not to fight anything, but so far you basically squashed a few mosquitoes.
Yeah, fight wise, but it's been.
But
It's been lots of adventure.
obviously, I'm not suggesting you wouldn't be honest because you're a polite guy. But like, it's a waste of time. But I got to say it was all right. But obviously, what I'm trying to do is get an understanding if it's.
No, I think.
So you don't think it was too much of a cheap shot then
No,
to like?
not at all.
Because I had a plan, but it was a plan that he planned that you could defeat, depending on
There's
how.
the opportunity to do stuff. I think if it's stuff that you made that's impossible, unless you're up against a lich. Well, unless you're up against, really high-powered magic users or something where they could just decimate you if you're unwise enough to do things.
Yeah.
But then, kind of, I think for those type of things, most of the time, a good DM will kind of just show you the power that they've got. So they might like disintegrate someone.
Give you a bit of a hint, right?
That don't go up against this guy.
Well, this is it. You read like something in a monster, and you think, well. And then someone fights them, and then you defeat them, and then when they loot the body, you finally got like a wand of disintegration and a +5 warp on their backpack. And like, well, why didn't they use it?
Yeah.
And same with the monster. Like, if you were a Medusa that you'd lived for like a couple of centuries, and you knew you had this power, you would probably have a plan, right? Rather than just like, when these guys turn up, I'm just going to fight them and try to stare in the eyes. Maybe you would like have a room full of mirrors or whatever maybe you don't want to. Maybe the opposite. I don't know. Can you? Do they can't turn themselves to stone. They do, don't they? Is that how it works? That's how you turned it to stone. Can Medusas turn themselves to stone? Anyway, hold that thought. What I'm saying is like a dragon who can fly and breathe fire.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he go up in the air and try to torture you rather than like say, "I'll fight you on the ground"?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I was thinking, well, what would this guy possibly, hypothetically, if he were trying to rescue or capture whatever? What resources does he have, and what would they do with them?
And I think quite often, I think there's, as you say, there's stuff where you roll afterwards and go, oh, well, okay, could have used that. But I think for some creatures, that can't use them, and it is just leftovers from from adventures or stuff that they've killed.
Oh yeah. We don't know what it is.
Who cares? That's fine. That's a thing. But there is, I think sometimes there are some where you do get a little bit frustrated where, these things are, as you say, hundreds of years old, but don't have a plan aside from run straight at people, and that that then makes it so that you're not just facing something. Yes, it's got a name, but it just goes. It's almost like playing. It's a lot more difficult playing a computer game against other people than it is against the stuff that they program.
Exactly.
And sometimes that's fun if you just if
you find that when the dragon lifts his claw up, then you strike.
Yeah, absolutely. So
like I remember playing Prince of Persia. Do you remember the first version of that? I couldn't defeat the mirror guy, and the way I figured out to do is you put your sword away and then draw it, and then he over lunges, so you just like put it away, lunge, and you stab him.
Right.
And then that worked 5 times around, you kill him. But if you try to like actually fight him, he was too hard.
Yeah.
So I found the glitch in the AI. But anyway.
That's it, and that's the whole thing. Where if you're playing against
real people
that have their own experiences and stuff, then it's really difficult.
Good against remotes versus what's the Star Wars quote? Good against droids or remotes is one thing, but good against real people.
Oh yeah. When they're on the Falcon. Yeah.
Something quite like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So and there's actually a famous story about, I don't know if you heard this, called Tucker's Kobolds. It's a sort of I don't know if it's a true story, but it's an anecdote that's circulated in like the kind of gaming sphere, that there was a group of adventurers, and this guy joined their group to play.
Yeah.
And then they were playing, and then like they discovered they were in like that they were against kobolds, and that apparently all the players were terrified. Oh my god, kobolds! What? And this other new players go, kobolds? Like D4 hit points? What are you on about? But the thing was, this DM was called Tucker, but Tucker's kobolds were absolute basquets.
Yeah.
They laid traps and ambush points. So like, he played them as smart, sneaky buggers, and so like the players were like more scared of them than they were like of like a dragon, because like they just fight the dragon, right?
Yeah.
But these Tucker kobolds, they're like dropping rocks on them from above and pit traps, and so like it was like, so he played them as like he probably played. My guess is he played them like too well, right?
Yeah.
Because they're probably not that smart. Anyway, I guess the point is,
they have to be fairly smart to even survive, though, don't they? Because otherwise, we've got our classic thing of when we were running away, I think from some ooze or something.
Yeah.
And a kobold steps out and goes, "Halt!" And everyone just ran by, and I imagine you went, "Yeah, I stabbed the kobold. I killed a kobold."
Yeah,
and actually, he did kill a kobold. So,
but that was it, because like the kobold, it's a game we're playing. You're right. You were all running away for something really hard, and this kobold stopped, stepped in the corner, and went, "Halt!" And like you didn't like talk to me or anything. You would just say, "All right, we run past him. We go down the left corridor like this," and then like, the magic who was at the back went, "Oh yeah, kill a kobold, I won't go past."
Yeah.
I thought, and this was when you were like mid-level. I thought, yeah, fair enough, you killed a kobold. It wasn't like even a discussion. You're like, but we're gonna.
But the kobolds would, yes, they're weak. But they are still alive.
Yeah.
So they would have to be fairly canny to be able to, and they're not able to use their strength because they don't have any, so they would have to be.
And they know their lair, they know where the danger points, the choke points. So, and this is why. So, in thinking about this scenario, I thought, what would I do if I was like this critter with maybe I had these resources, whether they be powers or magic items or whatever. How would I, if I was attempting to rescue the manticore, what would be my, or capture or whatever, what would be my tactic? And so and I thought, and then it's up to you to disrupt it
if possible.
Because like when I originally wrote this scenario, I thought, well, is there a chance you'll try to rescue the manticore because you think this is like Pauldron's I don't like Pauldron, like he's an idiot, and we did all the hard work. And so in that scenario, he would just like watch you and let you free it, maybe, because you were. But if not, he's ready to like maybe take the action himself.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess obviously I think we'll call it there for this session. But we got you. I guess if you're up for another one, I guess you might want to figure out what you're going to do next. What do you think you might do next?
Well, do you know what I might do next? Is actually put these somewhere, the character sheets and other stuff that I can actually find, put my hands on when you come round, rather than spending half an hour getting really angry with myself.
You sure you don't want me to put him in my bag?
I might actually let you take it because I don't actually look at it when you're gone. So my OCD. So let's do that, I think.
Sorry, dude. No, really. I mean,
no.
You really? Well, I don't mind taking them if you want me to hold on to them. Because it just goes into my bag with my wizard robe,
I'm very happy for that,
and my DM hat, and my new boar tusks. But okay, I mean,
nice ones, man.
But okay, so we'll pause it there. We probably should have had the post-mortem officially. I guess do you have any other quick questions about it, or we can save them up? I guess you ever spoke to. So you spoke briefly to the lycanthrope hunters who've disappeared.
I guess it's the chamber. I guess one of the questions I was asking Chamberlain: A, where was he, and B, has he seen anything like that before?
Okay, so he's
essentially, what did he cast to summon it?
Okay, so where was he? So he says that basically he said he took a tactical position to protect the Lord, obviously.
But we were protecting the Lord.
And he said, well, but I was. You just couldn't see me. I was in an uber tactical position to help him.
Oh, okay, yeah, definitely.
And you ask him, did he recognise any of these things? Okay, let's have a
and or like when I know, because he'd already disappeared by the time the beast had screamed or did its raw thing, didn't Or had he?
No, because he passed. He passed his save, or appeared to pass
But
his
did he,
save.
in the same way that our guys tried to recognise it, does he recognise it as a spell or as a...
So you ask him, did he recognise the kind of raw thing? And
does he recognise the beastie?
Or the beastie, or is it? Does he recognise like a magic property associated?
Yeah.
You know, okay. So what did I roll for you? I rolled your intelligence, didn't I? Twice your intelligence.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
on a percentile, wasn't it?
yes, it
on a
was.
percentile, yeah.
What I should have probably done is like add like +1 per level as well, just to reflect, intelligence plus level. But anyway,
do that for mine, right?
no, we didn't do that for you. Okay.
Quite easily.
Okay, so yeah, well, you would have a +3. You failed badly though, didn't you? I think. Okay, so it wasn't even close. Okay, so
it's the trouble of being recorded, man. You can go back and check.
yeah. Well, okay, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick that number. So let's just if he had 18, that would be 40. It would be
36.
yeah. So just with his intelligence, I guess we'll say 40 or under, right? Let's just say, because whatever. I'm just going to give it 40 because maybe he's a bit more known in the area. I'm not going to. You can't even see what I'm going to roll, but
No.
I know. But I mean, so I could just be lying. But,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to roll it.
I know. That's the beauty
Okay.
of you doing your stuff. You could roll it and not even just be a good thing of just
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah,
well, I think
yeah.
that's important to not share things sometimes
very
because
much so, because then you can make stuff up.
yeah. Otherwise,
he's gone
wait
on
a
the
minute.
He's gone on the South Road.
Like you failed. Yeah, exactly. He failed. He's failed his. If you failed a trap test, you're not going to open the chest, are you?
No,
He's
absolutely.
I would role play my character.
Yeah.
Well, role play your character, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Recognize. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Because some of it for this might be, if it is his stuff, then he'll want to take us off the track or just go, no, I've never seen that before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is.
Okay. So he says that he thinks the fear thing was almost certainly a spell.
Yep.
He thinks it's it is more than a. He actually thinks it's more than a fear spell, but it is has the same root. Mm-hmm. He says, I think I've read something about this. It basically is a spell which can generate strong emotions, and I think they use the fear component of it. Mm-hmm. And because it's like a super version of it, he really amps up the power. So that's what he thinks. It's either a fear spell or some like powerful fear version of it, but he doesn't think it's an innate ability. He thinks it's almost certainly a spell. He says, I think I could hear the words. And that's why I took the precaution of assuming a defensive structured position.
Quite right too. Right too. Well done you.
And as for the beast itself, he doesn't think it's a lycanthrope.
Yeah.
He thinks it's something else. He doesn't know what it is. And basically he thinks that, I guess there was two of them, right? So he thinks that one was real and one wasn't real, and thinks that maybe essentially one was probably a projection. He doesn't think it was like twins, but one was
almost like a phantasmal projection.
Or something. Yeah. So then, and probably why but it was more than that, because it literally seemed to have physical force when it was like fighting the work, but he doesn't think that you'd be actually able to kill it. You'd just be using your energy up fighting it. So it's quite important to find the right one.
Yeah.
And that's probably why the magic missile didn't
affect it.
Didn't stop it casting what appeared to be a spell. So that's what he thinks, but he doesn't know any more than that. And obviously he says, I'm a bit concerned. That seems to be more than a mere werewolf.
Yeah.
And what it was doing with the manticore is why it wants the manticore or not, that's also a bit curious. But all quite alarming, really. I want to ask Polder any questions, or anyone else?
I I guess if it's, is Poldrin aware of anything? Has he seen anything like that before? Is there any kind of any history of that type of stuff?
No.
No.
He says, he says, well, my sword was buzzing, so I can only assume
It was a.
a lycanthrope or something. It's a shame yeah.
It's a shame we pushed you back from going in and duffing it up.
Yeah, speaking of which, your guys legged it. They were hardly any use at all.
I know, yeah, bummed us.
So I don't think I don't think any of you chaps are getting paid for this. I hope you don't think you're getting
the guys that stayed and defended you.
Well, you lost him in Manticore and you ran away.
We didn't lose it. I think you'll
and
find
you tried-
that the Inglorious.
Yeah, well, they're definitely they're definitely getting the sack. In fact, if I catch up with them, I'm gonna throw them in jail because they were just hopeless.
Well, they ran before it even spoke.
Yeah, well, this is it. So the Glorious Ravens are not in good favour, that's for certain. But I will pardon you for your failure, just because to some degree you held the line for a while.
Fair enough. That's very kind of you. Uncommonly kind of you.
I guess there's no one else to really speak to.
No, there isn't really. I guess obviously we'll just as a kind of pardon me, sorry about that. We'll always just keep our eye out for Mother. Just anything.
Oh, you mean this
just
evening?
To see if there's, if she's seeing anyone around or anything like that at all. So just always kind of have that kind of.
You mean when you're travelling back?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just I think for certainly the immediate future.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously looking out for Saliusa.
Yep. And Popo.
And Popo.
So what do you think happened with Popo? Do you think he went past the
I mean, I guess I didn't really say that. I probably should have asked if people had seen him on the way.
go past? Well, I guess. So I guess the point is, lots of people have been going up and down, but no one particularly remembers the guy fitting his description. So he could have gone past.
He could have gone past, but he also may well have gone the other way. So he might have been going. He might have lied.
He might have lied.
So I think so.
He might have lied, especially if he's going to steal. Maybe
probably tried to put people off the trail if you were.
Maybe Sally give him a nod and a wink.
Yeah.
And therefore he was already telling.
Yeah.
I'm going south. Well.
Putting stuff on the on the groundwork down. So this is really fun. This is just to say. There's lots of potential. Because it was almost like the kind of fairly well established ones as well. Almost lots of little side quests that you could be doing if you wanted to.
So where do you think you're going to head next then? Obviously you're going to go back to town. Presumably going back to town with Lord Baldwin. And where do you think you might?
mean, whether they'll. I mean, do I really want to travel in his company? He is a little bit of a douche, to be honest.
You don't have
to,
but they are heading north at night,
I think
so it's probably not safe at least.
It would probably be safer, wouldn't it, to go with them?
And then when you get let's assume you're going to head back to Hafton in some fashion, right? What do you think your next step might be? I mean, there's obviously the Greencoat Forest, there's Hafton, there's an army.
There's
a werewolf on the loose.
Yep. I think the mother is, for me, I think she's hopefully, theoretically, potentially, maybe benevolent. So not necessarily someone that we kind of need to be. She's obviously trying to control, I think, although we've now okay, yeah, what I might do if they from these guys scooching off
the lycanthrope hunters, lycanthrope
sorry,
gang.
I've got stuff in front of me that you won't be able to visualise. So the lycanthrope hunters have kind of sloped off and gone off to hide and / escape. These guys are going off this way.
Or hunt Mother.
I guess, I mean, so all of Mother's clothes are here where she transformed. So I guess
you could leave them there, I suppose.
Well, that was going to be my thing. So I might just leave So rather than taking those stone caps,
Okay.
actually leave them there for her
Okay.
to
Interesting.
try and help, but kind of make it obvious that they are
You could leave a note, I suppose.
there. So just even just a pouch with
Make a
a
little-
a pouch with a on top of folded clothes or whatever for her. Or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, I see. So there's a bit of a message. Here's your clothes. Here's your stone caps.
Don't- Yeah,
Go away or something, or
just be careful and
yeah, we're not
you
actively
know,
hunting you. I guess
yeah,
it's a
it's a
it's a
message.
token, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
it's a message that we're not necessarily antagonistic.
yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But I think
That's
she's
quite a pretty good call.
she's going to have to. She'll know that these two now are, you know, that's been their be all and end all is hunting lycans, and she's a lycan. So
Well,
you know.
they might be able to make peace with it. Who knows?
yeah, it is one of those moral quandaries, isn't it? It's really that's quite a good one to kind of do, where you kind of, you know, there is all of those things where, I definitely do that until actually it is you in that situation, and then you have to try and work it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think for that, leave that for her as a message, and also just to help her. I guess the clothes might be all ripped up or whatever, but if we've got spare clothes, we can always leave some there for her. Travel back with these dudes. Looking out for Sally on the way as well, just to think. I mean, that's a small side quest, but it might be something that leads to bigger stuff.
Yeah.
I suspect if Popo hasn't come south, then kind of the natural thing would be that he'd gone northeast,
To Hafton.
northwest. Sorry, to Hafton.
That would be the most logical place because
But that's where obviously the army is coming from as well.
yeah, we might meet the army,
Um,
and then
And
what
then
happens there?
obviously
They
there
might
is-
capture him, I suppose.
yeah,
He might be a
he
spy,
could be a spy for them.
or captured as a spy.
Oh yeah.
Human travelling north,
Yeah.
bit suspicious.
Um,
Or he's gone into the woods, probably unlikely.
to look for stuff. He didn't seem that way inclined.
Unless he's the
considering all the other people.
mastermind.
Yeah. There's the dragon
Oh, the
as
dragon.
well.
Standing
And the 5
stones.
standing stones as well.
And the pentagram.
Yeah.
And the iron gate.
Okay.
Well, that's where the it's on your
Oh,
player's
the
map.
orcs, where the orcs come from.
Used
yeah.
to be an old dwarven
Yeah.
thing, but that's probably a much lesser thing. It's not really been
Yeah.
talked about, but it's there.
Yeah.
So it seems to me
So
you got
yeah,
two
there's-
choices.
there's
You
loads
can
of things.
hunker down Humpton, go to Halfton, or see what the army's up to, or go to the woods, see what's
Yeah.
happening, or go to the woods and cut round. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's-
There's plenty of options.
So who do you think? What do you think the who do you think did the rescue? If you were guessing, it sounds like you got a couple of guesses.
So I guess a lot of this is still riding on the potential unknown of the Chamberlain. So So I'm still trying to work out exactly where the Chamberlain fits into all of this. He's got some role in it. I think Pauldron seems like a patsy.
Mm-hmm.
The Chamberlain, you know, the mask is a bit of a giveaway. There's something there. So I guess so. So therefore, is there a link between the Chamberlain and Aldwyn?
So you think Alwyn's also in the frame as a
I think
potential?
so. So, especially given that obviously the magical was lying about being approached by Aldwyn in a lycanthrope form and being bewitched by him to drop these things off to sow unrest.
You think that's a lie, do you? Why do you think that's a lie?
I know. I mean, it has the potential to be a lie. So it was just trying to do anything to try and save his life. So,
yeah, sure. It could have been
you know,
making
it
up,
could-
right?
It
Okay.
could be
That's what I
saying
mean.
anything, I think.
But it also can be true, right? Is the other thing.
Yeah. That's the trouble with all of this stuff. That's the thing. So it has enough of truth speckled within it, or potential truth.
And the
speckled
halflings are
in it,
definitely
so-
behaving quite oddly.
Yeah, and you know that's a very odd thing for halflings to do, unless they may well have a. They might have had some odd elections recently that have put weird people into positions of power that shouldn't be in positions of power.
So
Who
unrealistic.
knows?
So
Yeah.
unrealistic. How would that ever happen?
Who knows? They might have just been going for all of their different places and finding things to think. So in my mind, I'm thinking that Aldwyn is heavily involved. The Chamberlain is acting incredibly suspicious and kind of disappearing on these things.
He definitely seems to have. He definitely seems to be more innocent than he seems. There seems to be something going on with him. Maybe.
Yeah.
I guess. Possibly.
And all of this, all of that stuff. There could be someone even. This is the kind of the thing. There could be someone even more powerful, just acting, outside of things that we've no idea about.
Popo, maybe he's
it
the.
could be Popo, man.
Maybe the Lord after all.
Yeah. So yeah. So
or just someone to say a new person.
Yeah, and that's as I say, this what I quite like about these type of things is there are just so many, and this is it's the thing of some of the really big open world computer games that I like, so like Fallout and stuff like that, where actually, yes, you've got the main stuff, but actually there's all the other side quests that you could be doing and get involved in, and
so I was hoping this would be a three and done, right? But we're on session 4 now,
and we're going to session 5 and not really done much.
Yeah,
I think possibly. Is it?
Well,
I probably talked too much. Sorry.
No. Is session 5 is session 5 going to be the finisher, or
who knows?
Or is it going to be? Do you think might be another one in it? But certainly, I thought, it's probably. I would aim for 3.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're already on 4,
yeah.
And but I think in terms of a play test of this being a scenario, in a sandbox, there's certainly still plenty to do, which is So it's obviously, the way I'm thinking about it has to be more than a one shot, because it's still like you don't have to do everything. There's no law saying you have to do everything, but
no.
If you had somehow defeated the plot, maybe it would have been over. But at least there's some growing room here. So after you do the main quest, capture Manticore, free the Manticore / spoil freeing the Manticore. Then after that, you can choose to continue, right?
Yeah.
So in a sense, I suppose the playtest you could consider to be done, because I think it's done the things I was looking to see what would happen and see if what worked and didn't work. But the question now is, if you want to play a few more rounds to see where it goes, I'm happy. I'm quite keen. I'm quite interested to see, how maybe some of the other things would work if you'd chosen to do those instead of those. But it's up to I don't sense I sense you're happy to keep going, but obviously.
Yeah, definitely, because there's some things that are just interesting in just
see what the answer is.
Yeah, for real.
All right, dude. I might hit pause there. I'm going to quickly. Okay. Cheers. Thanks, fella.
No worries.